Bananas. What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 180. I'm your host, Anthony Trapney. As always, I got a resident homie with me. I'm going to have the full bunch later on. Got Casey Howard with me tonight. What up, dude?
How's it going, man? Dude, I sat down at my desk and the sun was blazing in my face, and I realized I still had my sunglasses on when I was talking to you.
Just summer's around the corner, dude.
Oh my God, I need to close these blinds.
The Professor and the Gorilla, aka Joseph K, and Joel Horner will be here later on. But tonight we are joined by Dan Gates from 72 Legions and Mutual Hostility. What's up, Dan?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I really appreciate you having me on. I've spent many hours of my life watching this podcast because it's one of my favorite podcasts. So it's fucking amazing to be on here.
Killer, dude. And we're glad to have you, dude. And that's awesome that it's always cool. We've had this a few times where people have come on who were fans first and be able to become guests. And it's a unique experience because it'd be cool to talk to more fans too. We should do like a Q&A fan episode where we give out a special link to people who want to pop in and we actually do like fan interviews. That would be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
But yeah, dude, thanks for being with us tonight. And I'm glad that the show was something that you dig. And we're glad that all you guys dig it. All you listeners, I already see somebody up in the chat. What up, Grant? Yeah, let's do the damn thing. We got some plugs off the top. As always, Battleforge Coffee is the one we mentioned first because those are our good friends from Deeds of Flesh, and they put together a good company that I feel deserves to be, used by all the underground death metal heads. Everybody who is underground death metal should be drinking this coffee for sure. It's a great company, great coffee, and go over there and purchase some of it. GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com, Oceanside, California. It's a physical spot to go take your equipment and play music at, where nobody will yell at you like neighbors or family members or anything. So go over there, make some music, and maybe get good enough to get on our radar.
Speaking of hot tubs, there's an art show on Friday.
Speaking of hot tubs, I didn't even mention them yet, but Dave's Hot Tubs, San Diego, North County.
So basically on Friday, and Warbreaker is going to perform. So the guy, my friend David, original Odious guitarist, old time friend, fucking, he is doing a sick set of rad jungle fucking, I don't know what he's going to spin, but I think it's mostly jungle. But yeah, it's going to be rad.
I've seen him a few times in that element, and he definitely is rad.
He opened the Cynic Atheist show in San Diego. It was crazy.
Yeah.
All insisted. It was really funny. David kept trying to get out of it. But anyways, so it's going to be fun at Helia Brewery in Vista, California. I think it's in Vista.
All right.
So yeah, dude, off Keystone, I think, Street. So yeah, Friday, a little art show, music, gonna be cool. Anyways, plug that. All right, next. Go ahead.
Art show, real quick. Sorry, let's go. Yeah. Is it just actual artists bringing their work to show?
Oh, yeah, Dave with the Hot Tub Place. He's doing his art show. Dave Friedman. Mm-hmm. There's like a few people. I have the flyer. I should I guess I could post it in a sec a little bit, but I gotta send it. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool. There's some really awesome artists. He did like some collabs, like with this lady. I don't know exactly what. Basically, all I know is the art came out super sick. I think she did the coloring parts of it, and it's super cool. I can post it, but he'd be stoked. I think he'd let me.
I have a question for you, Casey, because now that you're in a new spot, I need to know, where did the elephant end up?
Oh, the elephant. I don't have the elephant right now. I think it's in my sister's.
Okay.
I was moving around recently, but I should get it back. Yeah.
You got it. That's been on the wall at every place you've lived at, dude. It's got to go over there.
Right now, I only have 2 of my grandpa's paintings, and they're like over here, but kind of the Death Valley ones that are all tripped out in blue and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough about me.
Right on. I think we got through all that. Professor's probably going to come on and have some stuff to plug when he gets in here. Dan, where do you want people to go? All things Dan Gates.
Well, I do have dangatesmetal.com. I haven't updated it in a while, but that'll lead you to my YouTube channel. And there's lots of videos up there. I'm Dan Gates Guitar on Instagram, Dan Gates Metal on Facebook. You can find 72 Legions on Bandcamp, 72legions.bandcamp.com. We have merch and physical CDs, and you can also stream the music there. You can also find all of my bands on YouTube, 72 Legions, Mutual Hostility, my former band Ton. All that stuff is pretty much everywhere. So, yeah.
So I'm just noticing something right now, and yeah, we're live. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to do some technical stuff. I wanted Casey to hear you, and now I'm realizing that I think you're coming through your computer microphone, even though you got the mic in front of you.
Is he? Maybe or not.
Go to your settings and see if your interface is so at the bottom of the page it says settings. Then you'll see audio in there. Yeah, and then in audio, the mic and the speaker.
Oh, you mean on the?
Oh, it's okay. Mic. It sounds like to me.
It doesn't. He doesn't sound like us, and
Yeah, I'm tripping.
Oh, that's weird.
I forgot to put my headphones on. I'm using my.
Are you on?
Let me put my headphones on.
Settings. Okay.
This is still a pre-pod, right?
And we were hanging out pre-pod too, and we should have been dealing with this, but I didn't really think that you sounded different until we got on the show.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Why don't you crank the volume on the interface?
How's that sound? Better?
Yeah. See, it is different.
Cool.
Yeah,
nice. Good catch, dude.
It was set to the computer's mic. Yeah, but sounds good now.
Nice. Perfect, dude. What do you think, Casey?
Like a little sound that I'm hearing. Talk for a second.
Hello. How does it sound?
Turn it down a slight bit.
Hello. How's this sound better?
Talk, Anthony.
Yo.
Maybe you should turn it up a little bit again.
Okay.
How's that?
How's that?
Better? I can sound you sound much better now for sure.
Live sound check.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, that was in the middle of your plugs too.
Okay.
I can edit your mic. Echo cancellation is on though. Reduce background. This. There you go. How's that? There you go. Talk now. There you go.
Check. How's that sound?
Gotcha, bro. All right.
Okay, good.
And continue.
Okay. So.
You were saying Dan Gates Metal. I'm sorry, I said
okay.
Dave. Dan Gates Metal, and then .com, but social media. You guys use your social media much?
Yeah, I'm Dan Gates Guitar on Instagram, Dan Gates Metal on Facebook. You can find 72 Legions at 72legions.bandcamp.com. Find us on YouTube, all the streaming platforms, as well as my other band, Mutual Hostility. My former band, Ton, all that stuff is available everywhere. Nice,
dude. Well, cool. Dan, again, thank you so much for being with us. Let's hang. Let's get your story, dude. You've watched the show plenty of times. You know, we like to go back to those early memories, dude. When art or movies or music, something sparks, hit that creative switch in you, and you could call that the origin point.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I was always a fan of music as a kid. Maybe not like a hardcore fan, but I was like always listening to music. I remember even, back in grade school, I had a friend, and I would hang out at his house, and his sister had a record player in her bedroom, and we would go in there and we'd like put Back in Black on, and we'd like jam Tom Sawyer at full volume. And
nice.
My parents would play some music around the house. Like maybe Sundays we would be cleaning the house or something, and there'd just be music playing. I used to listen to like Casey Kasem's Top 40 when I was a kid, and
What were your parents' tastes like? What did dad and mom like to listen to?
Well, I lived with my dad and my stepmom, and I don't know. I mean, I remember some Hall and Oates. I remember my stepmom having I think it was a Doobie Brothers album. Um, we had Thriller on vinyl, Michael Jackson back in the day.
Who didn't?
Yeah, right. And but you know, a lot of times the radio was on, and even every once in a great while, my dad would break out this old. He had a reel-to-reel tape player that at some point in his life somebody recorded a bunch of music on. So every once in a while he would get it out, like maybe on a Sunday, and just, you know, I mean, you know, had a reel like this big, so it's just constant music, and it would just play for hours. And you know, I can't remember everything that was on there, but you know, it could be Jimi Hendrix, or there might have been a Black Sabbath song. I can't even remember what all was on there, but yeah, I was always a fan of music. I remember having a Kiss. I think the first album I ever had was a Kiss album. Kiss, the one with Beth on it, and what the hell?
I actually never was a Kiss fan, dude, so I wouldn't be able to back you up. I don't know too much about that band.
I was never a huge Kiss fan, but I did have that album when I Love Gun.
Joel likes Kiss a lot.
Really? Oh, there you go.
Lick my love pump.
He's here.
What a coincidence.
Joel Horner
how's it going,
in
Dan?
the building.
Hey, Joel.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Yeah, but I was listening for a little bit because I was just getting shit set up. But yeah, Kiss. How old are you?
I'm 53.
Okay, so yeah, Kiss
You
seems
look
like a
good for
generational
53,
thing,
bro.
I know, right?
I was not expecting you to say that.
I was mildly shocked, but I was trying to play it off.
For sure.
I was going to guess in your 40s.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, that seems like from a lot of people we've had on, like around that age group, Kiss was, because when that came out at its time,
That's
so
true. Good point.
Transformational. People were like, "What the fuck? You can do this with music? You can do."
Well, you're the generation of X, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember just like staring at the cover of that album, and it actually, because it was called Love Gun, it actually came with like a paper. Do you remember those? I don't know if you ever did this when you were a kid. You make a paper thing where if you go like this, it like pops. And
Yep.
Well, it had like a gun-shaped thing in there that you could pop like that.
Wow. They were always like about marketing and merch and having, you know, reasons to buy physical items.
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong used to give out rolling papers in their records. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty good marketing for them.
Yeah. You got to hit your target audience, dude. And I guess Kiss fans like to whip paper around that make weird noises.
I guess so. I love gun, you know, you have to have a gun, a paper gun.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah. You can't put like caps in there like a cap gun, have like gunpowder in your fucking...
That would have been cooler though.
I know, right? That was amazing.
But so yeah, I think that's the first album I remember having. The first cassette tape I remember having was Journey Escape. I remember listening to that a lot. So, and you know, that was 80s. I don't know what year that came out, but I was a kid. I listened to that a lot. And yeah, mostly just more on I guess the popular music side of things when I was a kid. And then as I got maybe just a little bit older, I did get into like some Run DMC and Fat Boys and like the breakdancing type music back in the 80s.
Nice.
And so yeah, I had a little stint with that, and then it was kind of like, I don't know, probably about 84, 85. I was into skateboarding. That was kind of my thing before I discovered guitar. So, you know, I'd get these skate magazines, and I started seeing these guys wearing like Suicidal Tendency shirts or hats, and seeing like DRI, Suicidal Tendency stickers on skateboards and stuff. And so I kind of started to kind of get curious about that stuff, and I started looking into it a little bit, and just the energy of those bands like kind of grabbed me, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I think it's time to kind of go in a new direction here. And
you were a teenager by this time, or young?
Yeah, that's probably, teenager, probably 84, 85 ish. I started kind of switching over to some different types of music away from that rap stuff. And so I was probably like a freshman in high school. So I started discovering that stuff, and even the old Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, I know that's not metal, but it was like that. Their old shit is pretty wacky, you know, pretty crazy, pretty wild stuff. So I was kind of intrigued by that. And, you know, my skater friends were playing some bands like, I don't know, like DBC and MDC and stuff like that. And so all this stuff was starting to get into my head, and I'm like,
DBC, man. So you got to enlighten me a little bit. Those acronyms, I actually have not come across them. So what do they stand for, and what kind of music is it? Skater punks stuff?
Yeah, that sort of stuff. DBC, I think it was Dead Brain Cells, and MDC, was that like More Dead Cops or something like that?
Oh shit.
But yeah, it was just stuff that was more aggressive and you know, a little faster in guitar.
Yeah, it sounds like what is it? He's in an acronym band right now, isn't he? Or
there is a band. He'd
wear a shirt. He'd wear that shirt.
FSA, isn't it? FSA.
Oh, million dead cops.
Million dead cops. Yeah. What did I say?
That's more.
Many dead cops.
Yeah, I think I said many dead cops. Millions dead cops. I just saw them a couple years ago too.
Oh, nice. There was like Multi-Death Corporation too, which was like an old like crass punk or like that kind of British shit. I was gonna say real quick too, dude, that man, it's like, so like, just we've talked about Metallica and stuff like that so much, like Master Puppets or whatever, you know, that
I was headed there.
But I mean, like, yeah, okay, cool. Because I was just curious that being at that age at that time, because I was like 1 in 84, you know. So like,
it's refreshing to hear that your entrance to what would become the rabbit hole you fall down is not the normal Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer that most kids.
I'm not getting there yet. I'm definitely going there.
No, yeah, but I'm saying where you started, what because we always talk about our ways in. There's so many different doorways to walk through that will get you to this one place where we're sitting here right now talking about it every week on Thursday nights on Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff, guys. I'm always intrigued in how the path started. That's why we always ask that question, because I want to figure out the pinpoint time that the artist fell down, you know, the rabbit hole, and to get it through skating is actually, after 180 episodes, is a unique way in versus a lot of the other guests we've had. So that's just what I'm.
That's kind of surprising, because as I've listened to interviews with guys at least close to my age, I've a bunch of them got into it like that same sort of way, and their stories like really similar to mine, because it is that gateway where it's, you know, you're not going straight to the death metal, which I've heard you guys talk about before. You know, not many people just jump like 2 feet into death metal. Usually, you know, you're listening to something else, something a little more aggressive, some thrash. For me, it was thrash metal, because I was in high school in the 80s and all the thrash metal bands were out and I was all about it. So that's directly where I was headed, was that, you know, discovering those bands, you know, like the DRI and the Suicidal Tendencies and stuff. And then I started to discover, you know, Sepultura, Testament, Slayer, Metallica, all of those bands, because you know, back then obviously there was no internet, so you get magazines and you see the pictures of these bands, and you know, they're like I remember seeing pictures of Sepultura for a while before I actually was able to check them out, and then I checked them out and I was like, oh shit, man, this stuff is great, you know. And
do you remember which album was the first Sepultura album, you think?
I feel like I bought, it could have been like Schizophrenia or something.
Oh shit.
I don't know for sure, but yeah, I mean, obviously Beneath the Remains Arise. I love both of those and I listen to those a lot. So yeah, the 80s thrash. I remember watching Headbangers Ball as a kid, laying in bed on, I think it was Friday nights or whatever it was, just waiting for like 1 or 2 videos that I wanted to see, you know, because it was all this hair metal, which I kind of skipped right over all that.
Yeah.
I respect that stuff and actually like it a little more now than back then. I was like, no, you know, it's not heavy enough. I don't like it. I'm not having it. But I remember seeing Testament, Trial by Fire, that video on Headbangers Ball. And I was just like,
oh, cool.
Whoa, what is this? I mean, I jumped out of bed and wrote it down and went and bought it the next day. And definitely became a fan of them.
And, yeah, dude, that's cool. I mean, we've touched on it before, but the instant gratification today is what inhibits people to feel that feeling of waiting for something to pop up that you're looking for, and then finally it's there. I remember having VHS tapes ready to go during Headbangers Ball and other metal shows that I just maybe be able to catch a music video on, you know, whatever I was looking for, you know, and there'd be times where the intro to the music video wouldn't give you, like, it wouldn't tell you what it is. And there's sometimes extensions added to music videos before the song actually starts. So you got to kind of, hopefully, I'm gonna hit record right now and just hopefully this is something. And then sometimes it's like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Stop it. And then you got to re-record over whatever you just recorded. But when you got it, that was the greatest feeling, dude.
Yeah, I used to do that even when I was younger, like listening to the radio and trying to record stuff. And like I'd listen to, like I mentioned earlier, the Casey Kasem top 40 countdown. I used to get so pissed when he would talk over the beginning of the song, because then I'd have to hear that every time I listened to it. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
Every time I put it on, it's all he's talking. That's fun.
Come on down to Tom's Used Cars. All right, guys. Here's blah blah blah, blah blah blah.
Yeah, during the intro, he's just talking. He's all still hyping it up. It's like, dude, I need to start the song. Like, you're talking about the intro. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. No, for sure. That's the old radio trick. I was like, I brought you. So like starts playing in the background. It's like, and brought to you by your always hot 902.5 K Buzzard or something. And you're just like, it keeps going. You're like,
then they turn it up. Yeah.
That's funny you said Buzzard, because we had WMMS, which was called the Buzzard back in the day.
Oh shit!
I live on Buzzard on Buzzard Road, so that's funny. That's one reason why I thought of it.
We got some synchronicity going on, guys.
Yeah. I'm buzzard minded right now.
I just think that's so cool to, like, I don't know, like that time, like to be around. Like, I'm such a dork about that. It was like, dude, imagine just being of age, like around the mid early 80s, and like dude, I just love everything from, like, of course, not all the hair metal stuff, but dude, like Ozzy and shit, and like Dio and fucking, dude, it's just, the list goes on, like that period of from like 80, I mean the 70s too, but like specifically the 80s, like 80 to 88 or something, or 80, you know, just with the 80s, really, like, man, like it'd be cool to be able to go to those shows. Like, I mean, I remember talking to a lot of when I used to teach a lot students' dads, and like, I saw Maiden in 86 and they played you know, I'm like, God damn it. You know, like,
it's interesting to see the shift from like the 80s of like, it was like more technically proficient musicians, and it's kind of like all gone towards like as far as like popularity, like the technicality of people carrying going down, and then people going like, let's move that into the voice only, and like, but like people back then were shredding guitar, there was shredder drummers, there's fucking rad bass players, there was all this cool stuff going on, but it's kind of like just kind of gone towards like less instrumental, more voice. And you know,
you guys
there was like that
turning point. What if that finding those types of musicians got so hard that the industry had to change this style of popular music and just keep it within those 4 notes that, you know, so many popular songs have as their or 4 chords. Yeah, what I say, 4 notes. You know, I know what I'm talking about when we're talking music theory and shit. You know,
it's like a 4-cylinder riff.
Yeah, but like as far as making a product, we all have these situations where there's a food that we ate as a kid that's not as good as it used to be, or not as big as it used to be. That things changed because the product, there was the demand for the product is gotten so much bigger that they have to like spread it thin, and finding sick bass players probably aren't really money making aspects of making a most most like average person wouldn't be like, I love listening to the bass line on whatever pop song is on the radio right now. It's more like Joel was saying, it's geared towards the voice, it's geared towards the person who's singing now. It really doesn't matter much about the music behind it as long as the person's singing it.
I think it's geared towards children now. It feels like it's all like 13 and below or something. Like with Taylor Swift, how Taylor Swift is so humongous. It's like I didn't even really know she was that big until like obviously I'm a Chiefs fan. So then she started going to the games and I'm like, oh okay. And then like, oh no, she's number 1 in the world. And I'm like, really? Like I had no idea that she was. And like, and then it's all like my friends' daughters.
But she shreds guitar, right? Oh, I thought she did.
Sorry. She shreds chord changes. She might. Chords.
Who knows, dude? When she just starts like tapping and just like sweeping. And, like,
she just goes like doing like
the new Taylor Swift.
Like,
just like,
I mean, how many times have we talked about a band or whatever hitting us, coming into our lives at 12, 13 years old that we still back today and still gives us nostalgic feeling? It's job security, dude. You hit them at that age, they're going to come around 30 years later and want to take their kids to that concert, you know? Yeah, so Taylor Swift's going to be doing it until she's 70 because she's hitting generations before she becomes 70.
She's going to be like an old country lady in a rocking chair, like
the Dolly Parton of our generation.
Dolly Parton style. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like everyone just kind of loves her, you know? Like no one, I mean, you can hate on her, but like most people are like, well, she's, you know, she's like a, you know, no one hates Dolly Parton.
All right, we just turned this metal conversation into Taylor Swift
and Dolly Parton.
I'd rather talk about Dolly Parton, but yeah.
yeah.
And that's not the first time Dolly's been mentioned on the show.
All right, so a lot of it too is very like it's very psychological though. It's very good marketing. It's not even about the music. I don't think. That's just good.
Yeah.
Like fucking and psychologically written songs by, I'm guessing it's written like or helped along by like people that have studied the psychology of music and know what catch people, and that will pay. So like if you get people like, if you get me like back in the 90s, like I'm like going like not even into it, but I'm going like living la vida loca. I'm like, why the fuck am I singing that? You know, like it's like that's why I really think it is some sort of like there's a lot of science or like psychology that's actually on purpose with those songs, but paid for. Anyways,
nah, not at all, dude. No way.
No, dude. How could there be a psyop on normal society? What are you talking about, dude?
I think it's real. I'll get my tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so back on to Dan's timeline. So Sepultura was where we left off. You were coming across the thrash stuff.
Sepultura.
Yeah. I was definitely discovering all of the thrash. I love the thrash, and I wasn't playing guitar at that point, so I wasn't really thinking about it from a musician's perspective or anything. I just liked how the guitars sounded. I liked the energy of the music, and I was just all about it. So,
were you still skating too while you were listening to the thrash?
I was. I skated until I was probably a senior in high school, which I graduated in '89. So, I was skating, and a lot of my skater friends were listening to punk and thrash. So, I was learning about bands that way also. But and I mean, I discovered Metallica, and they just became my favorite band. I was all about it. I mean, my main goal, I finally started playing guitar when I was a senior in high school, and my main goal, I didn't start playing guitar because I wanted to try to be like a great musician or something. I just wanted to play Seek and Destroy.
I was hoping you were going to say, I just wanted to find chicks, dude. It wasn't Seek and Destroy was the first. So you just heard it and you loved the riff so much. You're like, I gotta learn how to play this thing.
Yeah, it was not the first riff I learned, but it was the one I wanted to learn. But my friends, and my friends that had guitars, they were like showing me like Boston, More Than a Feeling, the bands that I didn't even really care about, but in the beginning of Crazy Train, stuff like that, a lot of the typical stuff that people were learning back then. And so I went out and bought the Metallica tablature books, and I just went to town with those. That's how I learned how to play guitar. They were my favorite band, and I thought it was cool that I could sort of kind of like make these riffs sound like they were supposed to.
So you said they were your favorite band, but we never even got your introduction to Metallica. We got almost to it. But when you discovered Metallica, was it just hearing it on Headbangers Ball or on the radio?
I honestly don't remember the first time I heard them, but I do remember seeing guys around school with like jean jackets with the patches and wearing the T-shirts. And I remember, so I knew the name, but it took me a little while to like hear the music. And I don't remember the first time I heard the music, but yeah, but when I did, I mean, I was all about it. They were definitely my favorite band at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really inspired me to play guitar, was that I wanted to play metal. It wasn't really, I had no musical training, or I hadn't played an instrument before. I basically just bought a used guitar and just learned Metallica riffs, and that's really all I wanted
for you.
What's
actually
that?
For you, just I have a Metallica question. So like my brother is about your age, so growing up with the Metallica albums coming out, like the old school albums coming out, as like you're alive for them coming out
in
and
real
buying
time,
them as they're coming out in real time.
That's what I was thinking.
Were you as opposed to like my brother? My brother was like the ultra, like when the Black Album came out, he's like, fuck them. Were you on that when that came out? Because I know with a lot of the well, I mean, I got to get into them after Black Album had been out for years, so like, and then I had to reverse. So like in the time, I know that a lot of people were like, fuck them, that were like hardcore Metallica people. Were you part of that camp?
I wasn't a fuck them guy, but I remember buying the cassette tape and popping it into my 80 whatever Camaro I had at the time and driving around. And I probably gave it 3 full listens, and I was not feeling it at all. I was just like, man, this is not the band I fell in love with.
So I was talking to my buddy Ben from Generator Rehearsal Studios the other night about this exact thing. And he loves it. Like, he's like, oh, fucking, but he's like, he's like 45, he's like slightly older than me, but he, we were talking about, we're like, okay, so Metallica like was like metal and thrash. And then when they did the Black Album, it was like metal and rock kind of.
Yes.
Like they kept the metal always,
they
had thrash before. Yeah. And then they replaced that with rock and Bob and the ponytail. And there you go.
But I felt like even the metal wasn't as metal, because it was like, I saw the video for Enter Sandman, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, hush little baby, don't say a word. No, I was off to Never Land. I'm like,
it's just an aesthetic. Like, it's like a gin. Like, it's like the palm muting. It's the heavy sounding drums. It's the tone. So they're using that aesthetic because they've like made this brand, and then but they're using it in a rock, like heavy, still got the heavy. I don't know. I'm personally, I mean, who cares? I mean, I don't want to get into my opinion that much, but it's like basically, I like certain songs on that. I think The Unforgiven's a rad song. The Unforgiven 1 from that album is, to me, a great song. But
Unforgiven 3,
not 2 or 3 so much, but yeah, 1. But anyways, that's all I have to say about that. Continue, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's like getting older, and I mean that my brother gave me that. That's kind of like my introduction from moving on to like fucking No Doubt and Offspring, was like getting the Black Album. So it was like, to me, it was iconic. But the thing is, I didn't get to go through as they came out albums and then like, all right, the new one out, because that was like, that's still on the charts. That's still like, it's one of the best selling albums of all time, of all music. So like, it's definitely speaks to a wider range of audience than
my flex is being 39 and still hearing the first 4 before I heard Black Album, because my uncle had a box of CDs in the basement of my grandparents' house, and he only had the first 4. So so as a young child, I listened to the first 4, even though Black Album was already out, but the Black Album wasn't in that box, dude. And I actually popped in And Justice for All first, so I still did like a reverse thing, but it was just like one behind the Black Album. So I reverse engineered the first 4 somehow, and the Black Album was still cool, because you were talking about being into the popular music as a youngster. I didn't have that get out of here pop music feeling until I fully got into extreme metal and gangster rap, and then I was just like, whatever on the radio sucks, get it out of my, maybe Headbanger Ball had one cool fucking video that I'd watch, but I'd be like, no,
yeah,
this all sucks.
What's the best Metallica album? Injustice for All?
For me, yeah, I think, and that's probably not an opinion that most people have. I'm sure that Lightning is probably Ride the Lightning is probably the one that everybody usually.
What's your
stand? Super lame. My favorite one to listen to now, like if I want to put on a Metallica album, would be probably the first SNM. Because I want to hear all the symphony shit.
Dude, I was going to mention the symphony one.
I like that No Leaf Clover song. I like that No Leaf Clover song. I don't know.
Dude, you're reading my mind, because earlier I was like, I don't really remember having too much of a thing with the Black album after the first four, but it was with the symphony that actually gave me my second wind of Metallica. Whenever that came out, what year did that come out? Was that in our new? That was in our new metal age, dude.
All right.
Yeah,
but out of the first four, you're cheating. So pick one out of the
first four. Well, reload then. I'm just
kidding. Reload.
Saint Anger, dude.
I'm gonna say Ride the Lightning, because it came out the day I was born, July 27th, 1984.
That's the only reason, though.
A shout out to Ian. He's on my side
because I don't listen to any of them really anymore. But yeah,
really,
I do.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say, and Justice doesn't have any fucking bass too, right? There's zero bass.
Yeah, but it's still pummels.
But if it did,
play it louder, you're getting hit by Lars.
I have qualms with it that don't make any sense, but the songs are probably the best on Injustice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but I want to hear what Dan has to say, mostly here. I just my last little tidbit on that would be, I think the song "One" is one of their best songs. Yeah. For further that kind of those cleaner songs, that song is just ridiculous. And then I think Blackened is just really fucking sick. And so I don't know, just those two right off the bat. I think Blackened's better than Battery. I think One's better than anything on a Fade to Black or Sanitarium or whatever. I think One kills those songs. Anyways, that's my opinion on that. So Dan.
What's the one that starts "Dear Mother, Dear Father"? I forget the name of that song.
I don't know.
All right, I'll figure it out. But while Dan's talking about his,
Casey said that, he's all,
give me fuel, give me fire. I don't know. All right, Dan, what's yours? Tell us.
Well, if I have to pick one, I would probably say Master of Puppets. For a long time when I was younger, Kill 'Em All was my favorite. But the first four, there are definitely multiple songs on each that I like, but a lot. But if I had to pick one, I would probably pick Master of Puppets. But I saw them first right before And Justice for All came out.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Was it with Cliff or was it?
No, it was Jason was in the band. Okay. It was, I don't know if it was 87. It was whenever they did that Monsters of Rock tour.
Oh.
And it was at the Akron Rubber Bowl. And I was right up front. And it was they were my favorite band. It was just, I could see my favorite band's faces from the crowd and watch them play all my favorite songs. It was amazing.
Yeah,
that was such feeling, that's a different feeling too than now. We could just be like, oh, I missed that show I was trying to go to YouTube, just be like that show from yesterday. Now it's I mean, you could only see them in magazines and when they decided to show their faces on MTV, and that was it. And then if you wanted to go see them live, you're like, that's fucking them. It was so built up. Now
even
it's
with YouTube. You miss that element though.
But you could just see what they're doing.
Holy
live.
Shit, dude! I'm in the same room as dude that I think about constantly, in not a homosexual way, but I think about that dude more than chicks, because I listen to that music so much more than chase chicks, and now he's here and he's with, as a fanboy, I'd always want to get close to the stage, which now we've learned that getting close to the stage actually ruins the mix for you. But back then it was just getting up there to be within 10 feet of these musicians that you look up to and idolize so much, and then they execute it in front of you, and you feel the energy of everybody in the crowd with you, dude. It's still to this day the best feeling of any experience getting out of your house and going and doing something, dude. Sitting in a movie theater, yeah, that's cool. I'm munching popcorn and candy and watching a cool movie, but those people still aren't there, and maybe people get that from watching plays or whatever. Like,
speaking of Metallica, with like not seeing them in theaters, I remember when the pandemic was still going on. It was like probably 6 months to 8 months into it, and they're like, we're all like fiending for shows, and Metallica's like, we're doing a fucking outdoor like drive-in theater tour where they just play like on screen, like through a projector. And it was fucking like thousands of people like driving into this place. It was insane to get in, and then you finally get to park, and you're all trying to be all weird and like stay away from everyone and stuff. And like they just play, and they have like an opening band that comes on, and like it was all pre-recorded. I'm like, what the fuck? We just drove all
how
the way
many
down
how
here
many
to,
how many 80s Camaros did you see pull into that
oh,
drive-thru?
dude. It was in San Jose. It was in the gnarly part of San Jose too, so it was pretty lit, dude. But as far as no, it was just interesting that we were all like packing in, like the tickets sold out to go like sit in a drive-in theater and watch a pre-recorded Metallica like movie basically, but it was just a live show, and I was like,
I know.
This is
They're
where it's
trying to
gone, so-
reenact reality when reality was changed.
Did you go to the tour that they did with Guns N' Roses in like 91?
No, I didn't. I saw them prior to that though. Damn, I can't even remember who they were with, or who was with them, I should say. But I saw them on the Injustice tour, I think twice.
Nice.
And then, like I said, I'd seen them prior to that, right
Mhm.
before Injustice came out. They did that Monsters of Rock tour, and so yeah, I've probably seen them at least 3-4 times over the years. But then, yeah, once the Black Album came out, I was like, I think I'm done.
You didn't go to the Load tour?
Fuck no.
So talk about
sunglasses
that first talk about that first Metallica show, because you obviously, they were your favorite band. So the first, I mean, you did mention that you were there, and there they are. Oh my God. But who went with you? How'd you get there? All that kind of stuff. I want to know that.
Well, they did a tour. It was called the Monsters of Rock. It was Kingdom Come, Metallica, the Scorpions, Dokken, and Van Halen.
Wow.
I think we're all the bands. The only band I gave a shit about was Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with my neighbor, who was my best friend, and my cousin. And we drove up. It was in Akron, Ohio. I lived in Canton, which, Joel, I know you're a football fan. That's where the Pro Football Hall of Fame is. That's really the only thing we have, and the only reason anybody knows where Canton is.
Definitely, 100%.
But so it's just half an hour up the road, and it was in an old football stadium. And so we had tickets, and we had seats in the outer part of the bowl of the stadium. And we walked in, and we got there really early. And the field was like damn near empty, and the security was not checking tickets, because I guess that was just general admission down there. So I was like, well, fuck these seats. I want to go down on the field. So we went down on the field, and we got really close. I'd say if there were rows of seating, we were probably, 10 rows back or something. So I was standing in the middle, about to watch my favorite band for the first time, like super close. And it was during the summer, so it was hot out, and I remember they came out, and I was just like I couldn't. It's kind of funny because it was like I was so excited to see them that I couldn't. I was trying to just ingrain their images in my head, just watching them up there, because the videos that you've seen of them playing are the pictures, and now they're there in person and playing all my favorite songs, and it was an amazing day. But one thing I do remember is when I was going up there, my dad must have been a little freaked out that I was 17, I guess, and I was going to this metal show that was an all-day thing, and so he was like, you can't stay for the whole show. And I didn't really care about the other bands, but I went to see Metallica. But at the same time, I was looking back, I was like, kind of would have been cool if I would have seen all those other bands, because I left before they played. But I saw Metallica, and that was what was important to me. So yeah, I mean, that was it. It was awesome. I'll
That's
never forget that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Was Pops waiting outside in the car for you when
No, he didn't go with me. We drove up ourselves, but
okay.
But yeah, I think he was just a little worried about
how far was the stadium from home?
Only like a half an hour.
Oh, okay, not that bad.
Yeah, so it was pretty close.
But yeah, dude, that those moments are just so precious when you look back on them at a later age in life, and you realize that probably, planted a seed that made you want to go to so many other shows after that, because of that feeling that you're chasing, that you had, gotten by seeing Metallica 10 rows back and down on the field.
It for sure did. And it also, I learned that I had a couple of friends that had guitars, and they showed me their guitars and started playing guitar riffs. And then so being at a show like that also kind of inspired me. Like, I wasn't thinking about playing guitar at that moment, but when I saw that couple of my friends had guitars, and I'm like, well, if they can play this riff or whatever, why can't I? So
yeah,
I just bought a used guitar, and I wanted to play Metallica songs. Definitely inspired me. Dude. Yeah,
that's just as much as Metallica inspired you, your friends inspired you, because you just saw a person that you admired as a friend further along in something that now you, with that fresh little energy that you got from the Metallica show, you take that, put it into seeing these guys play, and then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go get one too and do the same thing. And Seek and Destroy was your goal. And how did you feel when you got Seek and Destroy down?
Well, it didn't just fly out of the old fingers as quickly as I wanted it to.
Right, but when you finally were able to just play it,
yeah, it felt great. I mean, I had an amp that was like super tiny, like this big, and I just turned it all the way up and did my best.
Did it?
Nice,
did it?
Give me fuel. Give me.
Hey, what are you doing?
It gave
I'm out of here,
fire, dude.
They just deleted our live stream and removed us immediately. Like,
that was
2 seconds.
Yeah, right.
I know.
What are you talking about, dude? The algorithm doesn't know that.
No, but no, that gave you, learning that song gave you that which you desired,
Gave you that fuel. Like it fuels your desire.
You're really crowbarring this one in, Joel.
I don't get
it. Is there any other lyrics to that song except give me fuel? It's like slows down. And goes, give me fire.
My desire.
Something about an engine somewhere, I think.
Speaking of desire,
engine. Yeah,
the professor, dude.
Yeah. Yo, checkity. How's
He's
it going?
giving me fuel, dude.
Hello, Joseph.
How's it going? What's up, Dan? Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Nice shirt.
Got the full bunch, dude.
I'm gonna be playing some of those songs next week in Switzerland.
Hell yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
I was telling him I was
even
jealous.
Appreciate really, or I don't even understand like what fucking Joseph is like. I just like Joseph just gets off the podcast and then I like look at his Instagram. He's just like he's like playing in New York, like, and then just like there for the next. I'm like, he's so like low key about it. He's like, yeah, just did it.
Here's all the Zenith Passage songs that I've learned and fucking kill.
I'm just shredding drums on Instagram.
And I somehow managed to make it look like I do a lot, even though it's like there are actual touring people who are like full time on it. I'm like, I did 4 shows. And it made it sound like I did a lot, or six shows in a month. So yeah,
well, compared to us,
too, you have work, you have other things besides music, and you're juggling all of them. So it's crazy to me.
And you profess, and you
I be professing.
You be professing, bro.
While I have the chance, can I give a little?
I already give everybody a heads up. I knew you'd have something.
Oh no!
I prefer you didn't. Yeah. I'm just joking.
How about I just block you out anyway?
So that's this morning.
You can mute me. You're an admin.
Okay.
That's another sick cover, dude. That's a super sick cover.
We've been talking about it for a couple months on the pod, but my band Lost to Lucy, the 3rd LP from the band, the first one featured me, Godform, comes out tomorrow. The stream is live on the label YouTube channel, Transcending Obscurity. So you can go check out the full record, produced by David Taro. We tracked the drums with Dave last year, and I'm still very proud of this. It's my first like label full release with the project I'm involved in.
Look at our professor fucking doing
it's my like little cryptic implosion, if you might say.
Oh shit!
It's your desire.
No, but and not to take it away from Dan too much, but I just want to say that I'm super proud of the professor, dude. I've watched him, blossom as an artist since we've been doing this for almost 4 years now, guys. By the way, we're coming up on 4 years.
That's crazy.
Maybe not coming up on, but it'll be this year, like a few more months.
Like 6 months, but yeah, for sure.
Is it 6 months? Shit.
It's still coming up for like, it feels like it's
4 months.
October.
Months.
We cracked halfway point recently.
All right, so we just
5
3 and a
months.
half years doing it, 180 episodes, and the reason why I know the professor is because of this show. Let's not forget it. Me and Joseph's first meeting was the pilot episode. Wild. And just watching what you do, I'm just super proud of you, dude.
Cali Death is stronger than ever. We got TVV active. We got Severed Savior active. We have Odious Mortem active behind the scenes.
Yep.
What's happening? So
yeah,
shout out.
Dude.
Yeah.
Is retro allowed to be talked about?
Retro's done and ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the announcing on that whole thing. I just talked to Dennis a couple of days ago. I was like on Sunday, I think. Yeah. And it was pretty cool. I don't know when it's going to get announced, but it's all done. It's all there.
Well, I've heard it.
Christian
fucking amazing
about
dude.
it, right? A bunch of people have posted about it. I mean, like,
yeah, it's just it's all. I had to take. I'll tell you, it's really funny. Right behind me, to the left or whatever. That way, I did like retake the band pictures again, or like a bunch of pictures of myself because they need to like splice them together because it's like because we're all living in like different continents and shit. And we tried doing these other pictures and it didn't work. We all had like different backgrounds. So you also have like a wall. So I took like these hilarious pictures. Like, I mean, I tried, but I was like different shirts and different, like sleeveless, regular, black, blue jeans, like, different so they can use it for different shit. And it's so funny. It's like
sunglasses,
the dorkiest thing. And I told my friend, I'm like, hey man, can you just take like a bunch of pictures? I'm sorry, dude. I'll, get you some dinner or something. It was really funny. It's pretty embarrassing, but it's funny.
It's good stuff.
We did that for the for synesthesia.
Yeah, we did like black curtains or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, just put it was like everyone just go to Walmart and get a black sheet and just put it behind you, and then just
did the black sheet and the lamp.
Yeah, there's like it's like right there. Yeah,
that is a sick backdrop for the pod. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I didn't set it up at all or anything.
No, but actually, it is. We've had people on the show that want to showcase their rooms or their spaces that they get creative in. Never really saw the stacks. Everybody's got their guitars and got the drum set or whatever, but never really saw the stacks set up. So that's pretty cool.
It's tight. Hell yeah.
Gotta have some stacks.
Is it a bass amp? Oh, yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
It's an Ampeg.
Yeah.
And then you got the.
Sorry, I'm like backwards on the camera. I'm like, I don't know which way I'm pointing.
Yeah.
We were having that
issue. Up an arm. It's the wrong arm.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mesa Boogie, and you got the what's that? That's not 6505, right? That's a
6534 plus
34.
Oh.
That's right. Yeah. I saw the 4 at the end. So
sounds like I need to go pee. I'll be right back.
Sounds like you do too.
Start talking guitar gear.
Are you actually? I want to ask about gear real quick while he goes and pisses. But something with Solar and Ola stuff. Are you sponsored by Ola?
Yes, I have an endorsement with them. They were taking on artists like, I don't know, 3 or so years ago, and I hit them up. And at that time, Ola's wife was like the artist relations person, and I sent her all my stuff, and she liked it. And I do a thing on my YouTube channel.
Nice.
I haven't done it in a while, but I called it 2 Minutes of Metal, and I would basically write like 2-3 riffs and then just use Superior Drummer and kind of write a little mini song and I had a bunch of those, and she checked them out and thought it was a cool idea and whatever. And so they gave me an endorsement. And then recently I hit them up again. I was like, hey, I'm starting to do some touring and stuff. Is there like another endorsement level I can get to? And so they kind of upped it a little bit. They don't send me anything for free, but they upped my discount basically. So yeah, it's cool. So I have like 3 Solar basses and 2 guitars, and yeah, they're good instruments. I love the Evertune on my guitars. I toured last year with 72 Legions. We were on tour with Venom Inc., Satan, and Ringworm, and I played my Solar basses on that tour. And then the tour we just did, I was the vocalist, so I didn't play anything. But I'm in 72 Legions. I'm moving to guitar and vocals, so I'll be playing my Solar guitars on stage too. So
sick.
So for you, I mean, going from the old school, like playing Metallica stuff like that, and I've been actually kind of going down this path right now where I want to get an 8-string, and I see one behind you. What going from the old school to getting an 8-string? Can you talk about that? What that change has been like? If you're just someone that has never, I mean, because when I was a kid, I got a 7-string, and then
that actually
removing the 7-string, and then
that actually is a 7-string.
Oh shit, looks thick as fuck.
And I resisted the 7-string thing forever. Like I had no real desire to own one, and I was perfectly fine with 6 strings. But in 72 Legions, we play in drop C, and then they play 7-string guitars also. So
Definitely.
So I actually bought the 7-string recently, and I bought it strictly for writing for the band because I was still playing bass in the band, and then our vocalist left, and for a tour I moved over to vocals. But it's good that I bought it because now I'm moving to guitar, so it's nice to have, and it's cool. It's fun to play. I still feel like I could survive with just 6 strings, but the 7-string's fun. The 8 strings, I played an 8-string once, and I was just like, I don't even know what to do with this thing. This low string is just bow, bow. I was just like, I don't even know what to do with this.
I remember like going to go try out an amp. I was buying an amp from a guy, and I was like, he had an 8-string. It was the only thing to like test it out on, and I was like, all right. And I was just picking it, and I was just picking the 6-string while playing the 8th. I was my brain was like not understanding. Like, dude, there's 2 more up there you can grab if you want. Like. My brain, like my right hand versus left hand, were like, no, dude, like you're chugging right now. And I'm like, yeah, but my hand was completely just fucked. Right hand.
There's that point of reference on like the outside string, or like the low E or whatever, the low D or the low C, like, whatever you're like on a 6-string or even a 7-string. But it's like when your point of reference, even for me, a 7-string, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do on this thing. Like, I have to play a 6-string almost, but I'm not like, shredder like you guys. I just fuck around.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a.
What's that guitar Alex got?
You're a liar, dude.
No.
No, I think it changes the subject all quick.
Don't play. I just play like.
What about Alex? What did Alex get?
No. I mean, like I play like Maiden.
No, he's Kiesel. He's like Kiesel.
Kiesel. That's what he got.
Kiesel.
He got that crazy looking. But Paul has one of those, right? That crazy. That like
little,
it's kind of got the
it looks like a Strandberg.
One of these bodies. It's kind of like one of these bodies, but a little different, like a little less extreme.
It's like smaller
right there. Yeah.
What's that? What is that green guitar back there?
That's a Solar. That's I remember seeing it. Actually, it was after a podcast on Cali Death Podcast, and I had probably had a few extra drinks that night, and Ola had just announced it. I know Ola had just announced it. It was like, and I was like, just midlife crisis guitar, dude. I ordered it within 5 seconds. I was like,
I guess you can say that now. You're almost
shit. Yeah, like $1,500, dude. Shit, fuck it. And in the morning, I was like, oh, well, whatever. That's sick. And actually, to shout out to them for how fast it came from Sweden or whatever the fuck it came from. It was like a less than a week it showed up, and I'm like, like I order shit from Texas, and I like get it in a week and a half or something. I'm like merch and stuff, and this shit came right away. It just basically have to pay like a random. Oh, look at right above. It's Canvas Solaris Sloth. I put it up there. See? I found it.
Oh shit!
I see.
There's a fucking that's an Easter egg. Yeah, you guys got to go back to the Hunter Ginn episode. Shout out Hunter. Love you, brother.
But
I love that.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna fuck with the 8-string.
Shout out, Hunter. Yeah, the 8s are fun. There's a lot of new bands that are playing 8s, and I try to learn some of their stuff, like Grey Lotus. I want to say Odious Mortem, but it's Ominous Ruin. And then the Lost of Lucy play 8s, so I'm in a band with an 8-string. It's all about that. It's pretty cool. I have an 8-string that Gad is loaning me, my guitarist, to ostensibly write material for the band. It's definitely tricky to use one, but it's just,
do you just segment your mind? Like, do you segment your mind from those 2 strings? Do you just like go like it's a 6 string with these 2 extra things on top?
Yeah, actually, the thing that kind of helps is I heard Tosin Abasi say once, he just said an 8-string is a different instrument from a 7-string and a 6-string. So don't just think of it as like extended guitar. Think of it as like an entirely different instrument, and then it helps when you play it. So,
okay.
But yeah, I think it's you have to learn a song. Like for me, it was an Animals as Leaders song. I just wanted to learn some stuff from the self-titled record, and once you know 1 or 2 songs, then the rest of it kind of starts to come together. But I still, for like my own stuff, I'm 7. I like 7 strings. That's a good amount for me. So,
yeah. I mean, something about a 7-string. I mean, as a kid, that was like my holy grail guitar. Was getting like at the time, and like 2099 was getting the Korn 7-string. Trying to get like I was literally I was like before phones. I talked about this before. I could stare at an Ibanez catalog like that. I got like a production Ibanez catalog that had like maybe 14 pages. I would drive home. I had to take 2 buses and a taxi home to get home back when I was in high school. I would leave school at 2:40, get home at 6:30, and on the buses I would just stare at this catalog all day for like a year. Like, and I'd listen to my headset and stuff. I was like, just like, whoa, dude, like 7-string. Like I was so.
You'd read the write-up multiple times. You pretty much knew everything about the write-up. Yeah,
you took a taxi as part of your.
Vine Hill Road on Highway 17.
Barely.
It's like if you get to basically like there's no bus that goes to Vine Hill Road, so it's like on 7. It's like probably at 2 miles on 17.
Because it's too fucking crazy to drive a bus down 17. Who the fuck would do that?
Well, they do the highway. They do do one that goes to San Jose, but they don't turn off Vine Hill Road. They're not gonna be like, let's turn off this like random like fucking country road. So
there's a taxi like waiting for you every week or every day or what?
No, so I used to take a bus from Aptos High. I would get to downtown Metro Center, and then from there I would take a bus to Scotts Valley, which is a Jack in the Box. Used to be a Denny's when I was a kid, and from there I would go to a payphone and I would call a taxi, and then a taxi would come pick me up from there. And then it was, and sometimes, dude, the taxi drivers back then, they were like drunk and like they were like, it was crazy, dude. Back then they didn't give a shit. They were just like, they hated their life. Their shit smelled all crazy, and they were just like bobbing and weaving, and just all like, fuck my wife sucks. Like, and I'm like 14 or 15, like, it sucks, dude. Sorry, dude. I don't know. Get me home alive. But that's my walking a mile in the snow barefoot story.
Yeah,
I didn't know that part of your lore, dude.
My lord.
Yeah.
No, that's what made him. That's what made him the alpha gorilla in his nest, dude. It's because
I used to have to go up and stare at the magazine or the newspaper racks and just like read the front pages of them because I was so bored. Like I didn't want to do schoolwork. I was completely not. I still remember, even though this is kind of a negative subject, but I remember like walking up during the day the day after Columbine happened. And just like seeing it on the front pages of everything, and then Kurt Cobain. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing all these like just I have these like snapshots of like crazy events that have happened. Just like on like whoa, like these.
And with Columbine, you're like, oh shit, it's really home. Like Kurt Cobain's a rock star. That's an older person. I'm a teenager, and Columbine's happening too. Oh shit.
Yeah. Jesus.
That
was a next level thing. Yeah, that was.
Now we get a Columbine every few months. So
I know.
That actually is true, dude. I mean, not to get on the shooter thing, but Columbine happened, and then it kind of like snowballed for us after we've came across that.
Well,
I'm low key like if I have kids, like low key wanting, like I'm just gonna put my kids in Catholic school, even though I'm atheist. I'm not atheist. I'm agnostic. I was raised Buddhist. I'm
raised
just like,
Buddhist,
dude, uniforms.
agnostic.
I'm all uniforms, like fucking structure. I don't want any of these, like all this shit going on, because I'm like, shit's getting too free.
Well, let me just say, my kids go to a school that it's on lockdown. There's literally a gate around the place that locks up during school hours. But actually, even in the security situations, those dudes kind of puss out when things actually happen. There's been times where the guys who were supposed to protect the school, what?
Yeah, we're in the weeds.
Jesus, yeah,
we are.
You know how we roll.
Deep weeds, dude.
All right.
But I mean, also too, like the median household or median fucking price for a house where you live is like $1.8 million. So I mean, it's a little different than the rest of America. But that's
true.
what I'm saying.
That's true.
All right, one last thing on school stuff, and then we'll move on. So I couldn't drive home directly yesterday because I live on UC Irvine campus in grad student house. And if you heard yesterday what happened, I didn't. Oh yeah, they shut down the encampment yesterday with giant police presence. There was like 100 cop cars descended on a campus, and
over
so I didn't
pre-Palestine.
Yeah, there's like 500 plus encampments on college campuses around the country right now. A bunch have been shut down. UCLA got shut down a couple weeks ago. Columbia was the big one that started the rest of them off. So UCI, it escalated. So it's just a tidbit because I haven't posted about it or anything. I just wanted to, like, if anyone knows where I live and was wondering, yes, I could not drive home. Like, there were cops stopping cars from coming down the road I used to go home, and I had to wait until the cop let people in. So that was kind of insane, but it didn't stop me. Eventually it was fine, but that's all I'll say.
It's a minor inconvenience compared to what they're speaking about.
Yeah. I mean, there were helicopters hovering right above where I am right now and all that for hours and all that. So I don't know. It was interesting. Well, I got opinions. I don't want to go into it right now, but
I was just gonna say I don't want to go into it. You got us all riled up here, Professor.
Sorry.
No, but I just want to say that killing is bad, no matter what it is, dude. So
agreed.
All right.
Yep.
Let's get back into Dan. Dan, you sat and watched us fucking do the whole resident homie. Now
I'm well aware of the weeds.
Good, dude.
So what do you think about Hamas?
I'm done. That's just how the show goes, dude. If people don't like it, fuck it, dude. We're here to hang out and things just happen, dude. When you get 5 dudes together to keep a conversation going for as long as we do, things are just going to go certain ways and you follow it, dude. That's it. And we're always going to get back to Dan, you know. Let's talk about the first time so you're playing the stuff. How long did you play that used guitar? Do you still own it?
No, I don't. I wish I did, but I don't know, man. I probably played that thing for a year ish, maybe more. It was a Memphis. The company was called Memphis, so it was like like an off-brand, I guess. I don't even know. Just a friend of mine
had
heard
that name, and that's actually really exciting.
Memphis from China.
Probably.
It doesn't, but it just doesn't matter. It's fun to hear this brand that nobody's mentioned, Memphis, on this show. Dude, we've been doing it for this long.
We've got some weird ones. We've got some, you see them in pictures of these, like kind of even Ola has talked about, like there's solar ripoffs coming from like other places in like certain places of the world that just basically it's like a Fender ripoff. Like people are like, oh well, we're not, there's no laws for this where we're from, so let's make something similar and way cheaper.
With the Memphis, did you get the practice amp you were talking about, that little small amp?
Well, it's funny because I bought the Memphis off a friend of mine, and I think it was like October of like probably 88, and I played it. A friend of mine loaned me an amp, so I was able to play through an amp for a couple months, and then on Christmas, my parents, my dad and my stepmom, totally surprised me and bought me this little crate amp, tiny little thing. But I had heard a crate, and at the time, a lot of people were buying crates, so I thought it was awesome. And so,
dude, I gotta hear about it though. You walked downstairs. Was it wrapped up? Was it hiding? What was going on?
I think it was wrapped up because it was small enough. But I remember, I don't remember unwrapping it, but I just remember that I had a crate guitar amp, and I just thought that was the greatest thing ever. And so I immediately went downstairs. I could barely play guitar because I only owned one for a few months, but I just plugged in and I just noodled and played bullshit for hours just because I was just so excited, and I just did not expect that. It was
was Christmas Day. Immediately, as soon as you could, went down there.
Yep, I went right downstairs.
So obviously, that was your favorite present that year.
Oh fuck yeah, that's probably my favorite present ever.
Hell yeah, dude, so sick.
I just got done playing through crate amps at the School of Rock where I came and work.
Really?
And they don't sound, the ones they have at that school are probably not the same ones that sound good.
Well, I remember there was like a crate thing with like, there was like a crate, like when I was a kid, my first like real amp was a 212 GFX 212 crate, and I remember it does like chorus and all the things, and I was like, it turned into like me trying to convince myself that I needed the Blue Voodoo crate because it's like, because I was like, oh, crates, crate turned into like when you start to get in high end gear, when you slowly starting to get in high end gear, you're like, well, like this one guy plays a Blue Voodoo, so my buddy's selling one. I need a Blue Voodoo. Like, and
dude,
before you know Ian, it's kind of like, yeah.
Sorry, Ian, you had a thing called a little gorilla, dude. They really
the gorilla amps.
That's the amp that I borrowed from my friend until I got my crate was the gorilla.
Dude,
my dad had one.
I wish that was your first amp, Joel.
Gorilla?
It was my dad let me borrow. He had a bass amp that was a gorilla amp. It was a gorilla bass amp. It was a 110, and I got to plug in like pedals in with it and
the gorilla bass amp.
Yeah. It was just a little 110, probably like just a little 1 foot by 1 foot little tiny square. But yeah, crate, same thing. Was crate like we don't give them enough props because they gave so many players a chance to get like a decent sound for so much cheaper than like getting a Marshall JCM 2000.
I still got my GX 130, dude. Still got mine.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were such at a good price point, and they were doing a lot of the same circuitry as a lot of the other amps. So it was like, why not? But it was like when you started getting all like, like smelling your own farts about amps, and you're like, great. No. But in the beginning, they got the people to start.
On Christmas Day, he's not thinking about that, dude. He's just thinking about fucking wailing, dude.
Shredding my Memphis.
Oh, dude.
Dude, shredding the Memphis, dude.
Shredding the Memphis, dude.
Yeah, the Line 6 was next. I would say Line 6 after Crate. Those were like the two hot shit cheap ones, like $250 for a 212 fucking combo amp. My dad for Christmas got me that Crate, and I still remember this fucking walking out of the Guitar Center with it, or the music shop with it, going like, I'm fucking gonna crush
God.
Like,
I'm God form. Check out Last Lucy.
Nice shot. But no, so crate. So what crate did you get? You got one of those small kind of combo crates?
Yeah, I think it was might have been a 10-inch speaker. I mean, this thing was fucking tiny, and so I played that for a while, and then I somehow got rid of that, sold that or whatever for the next size up from the crate. I think I went through like 3 stages of crate, and I actually still have one in my back room, just collecting dust. But I did like a 212 combo before I actually bought my first half stack.
I kind of did that too. I was a kid. I had like the little crate, the 15 watt one or whatever, or 30 watt, whatever. And then it was like, I played a bunch and I was like into it. Then it was like my parents got me like the 60 watt crate. It was like, oh shit, the same. But remember that? It was like kind of like a combo amp. It was like a 12-inch, I guess.
Wattage, dude.
Speaker.
And it had like maybe like reverb or something on it, like added. Just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I had that into like a cabinet, which was like my first like half stack, but it wasn't really a half stack, you know. But yeah, but anyways,
it was like
I went to the
7/8 step or 7/4. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anthony knows
3/4
wrenches.
You know what's
like
crazy?
Casey had to break out of 14.
Yeah. What I gotta say though, so what's really interesting is that Crate GX130. It's kind of like the Ampeg VH140C, like that. It's like the Crate's copy of that, you know. And it's an interesting amp, dude. Like I kind of was messing with the shape, like on it, like so, like the tone, basically. And I was like, oh, crazy, dude. Like you can make that thing scoop. Like I was like, whoa. Like it's like Injustice for All or something, or whatever, Suffocation or something, like, but like really tight. Like, you know, you're like, whoa, crazy. That's like that sound right there. Like I was just,
you guys make me go shark eyes at this point, because I hear
shark eyes. What is
I
that?
yeah, dude, because I just look at, I'm just like staring at you blankly, because I hear you say these things. You go, I'm sculpting the shape. It's the tone
scooped,
and then all of a sudden it gets scooped, and I'm just like, shaped, you know, and scooped, and fucking what's going on here, guys?
Casey, tell about scooped.
Tone shaping
sounds like. Let's talk. We haven't talked enough about the sound of scooped sound, but like
such a funny word for sound.
Like,
oh, I used to totally take the mids out.
Actually,
I
want Dan to talk about
my dumb mind thinks of 2 scoops of raisins, dude.
Okay. So Dan, explain scooped sound to Anthony.
Okay, so my first half stack that I bought was a Randall. I forget the model. I think it was one of those like that. I don't know if it's the same one Dimebag used or what, but it was one of those old solid state Randalls. And I thought it sounded pretty decent at the time, and I used to turn the mids all the way down, and because everybody was just scooping out the mids, you know, and you want that.
That's what it is. You're taking out the mid section of the mix. Basically.
It's a chunk that you get a bassy chunk from it, but it's not. You don't get defined riffs or notes with it, but you get you get like a really scooped chunk from it. So by yourself, it sounds amazing. But like when you start having to jam with other people, it's like not. It doesn't. Your frequencies don't cut through it all. It's like there's no one's gonna hear you. You know.
Yep.
So Anthony, it's like usually your basic EQ is low, mids, and highs. You know.
Yeah.
So like it's just scooping out the mids is like what you're.
And that's better when you're alone. And that's what you're saying is better when you're just playing by yourself.
It's not so. It's just a sound.
Okay.
It's
like, it's harder to hear yourself when you're scooped the mids and you're in a band session.
The mids have definition.
They have definition. So you lose you can't hear yourself basically if you're playing with a bassist and a guitarist. And
it's all jun and no attack and.
It's like the cake thing. You can't eat it too. Like,
but then at the same time, like the bands you were talking about, like they had a scooped tone, but it was mixed with the band to sound good.
So the benefit of the like in the mix of a recording, but not being able to hear yourself at a jam session or whatever, that sounds not beneficial.
You can hear yourself. It's just that like mids create more. Okay, like a good example is like Necrophagus, Anthony, like Epitaph or something like that. Like there are plenty of mids in the guitar. Like you can hear, like it's still a heavy sound, and it's still probably scooped to some degree or whatever. I don't know. But the point is, you can definitely hear the mids in those guitars, you know. But like a scoop sound would be like maybe Effigy, like super scoop like guitars, you know, or even In Time Begins, man. That's like crazy
like
scoop.
Dying Fetus, maybe old
Internal Bleeding.
Yeah. Like,
wild,
you know. But it kind of came from like Injustice for All, kind of, especially I think has that really
nice callback, dude.
So
because there's that Injustice for All, that Metallica EQ was always kind of like a big U, wasn't it? Like it was like the highs and then it was the lows, but no mids for that like Black Album. People go like, I want that Black Album tone, and it was with that Mark II Mesa Boogie or whatever. And people, it's the scooped mid kind of thing.
So another dumb question.
Just
Then would
be... no, I got my friend just sent me a picture, and I can't.
So is the scoop sound preferable for the listener? Is that what you're saying?
No.
It was just a thing.
What is it for, dude?
It was back in the day. Guys thought that was the heavy sound, but
I mean, sorry. In Dimebag, it was a stylistic thing that some people like to sound
most
like
of the stuff that I listen to in metal, there's a element that they scooped out.
Yeah.
They didn't give it all to you. They took some of it away.
Damn, dude. I feel left out. Dude. I feel like I didn't get the full experience then, dude.
They just get a ice cream like scooper and just go to the EQ and just.
That's how I'm imagining it right now. I literally.
I guess that's probably where they came with the term from. That makes sense. That's funny.
Yeah.
Have you seen that meme that's like, "Honey, I scooped the mids"?
That's actually awesome, dude. That's really good. That's really good.
But basically, it's basically like what we're all kind of talking about with what Dan's saying is like, when you first get a guitar amp, it sounds way sicker to do that. Like all these mistakes, it sounds sicker to turn the gain on 1,000. It sounds sicker to turn the mids down. It sounds sicker to like the chunk is more like beefy, and you're like, that's better. But then you have to then you start learning riffs and stuff, and you're like, all right, well, they're just going to be kind of like a frequency of noise that's going to like hit that, but no one's going to hear it. And that's where mids come in. You're like, and you start learning as you play. You're like, well, I need these like mids to actually like make it to be heard. Basically, any kind of notes.
So now, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I feel like I spent a lot of years, my early years playing where I had no idea what guitar tone was. It's like, just like Joel said, you just put the gain on 10, take all the mids out, and you get this jun sound that sounds cool when you're playing by yourself, but it's not good really 100%. For guitar tone. But so many people were doing it back in the day.
Exactly.
So my dumb mind is just looking at this thing as you guys are explaining it to me, and I think of with the mids, it's a full spectrum situation. When you take the mids out, then is it more like a harmonizing situation? The lows and highs harmonizing together in some frequency?
No, not really.
Oh shit.
Well, sometimes too much mid can be kind of harsh and like nasally sounding and not pleasurable, but you got to have some in there to have the full sound and tone, and where you put it depends on what you're playing, what kind of guitar, what kind of amp, all that stuff. But
I'll never fully grasp it, guys. I'm gonna keep trying, but I'll never fully grasp it.
It's
next time you're at Gilbert's house. Yeah, next time you're at Gilbert's house.
Yeah.
Tell him I need to hear what a scoop
is. No, as soon as Gilbert will probably, as soon as he sees the gloss over my eyes, he'll be like, "All right, we're done."
No, he just needs to show you the tone of the difference, and then you'll be like, "Oh, okay," and then it'll be done. It's like
yeah.
He needs to give you a
experience
demo.
The difference in real time, back to back, so I have fresh reference.
Just listen to Mortician and listen to Necrophagus, and be like,
"Yep."
So Mortician is unscooped.
No, super
scooped as fuck.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, I love how you're still talking about scooped.
Dude, we're scooping, dude.
I had to scoop out for a second.
Fascinating and confusing.
Yeah, it is very fascinating. No, it's and it's also like the science of like all kinds of crazy scooping. Like, because Anthony, they can do digital mixing with sound waves and stuff on computer programs and stuff, and like you can see a scoop go down. It's like a scoop.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It's like an ice cream scoop.
Okay,
like taking like an EQ and just like, can you scoop the highs though?
Oh, that was a question I had earlier, and I forgot.
Just go early cliff.
It's just like it's an early cliff.
Cleave the highs, like
just
like
why would you want to
cleaving? It's cleaving with the highs.
So
scoop the mids, cleave the highs.
In Ableton, when I look at a sound wave, you're talking about
I don't know.
That being like 36. What is it, Baskin Robbins, and then they scoop out a little part of that. That's the ice cream in there.
You dump the bass, scoop the mids, and cleave the highs, dude.
There it is,
dude.
All right,
do that, and you fucking sound great, guys.
So, speaking of sounding great,
so you had a crate. So you got that crate amp.
Yeah.
Sorry, hit a thing with me because it's nostalgic.
So next time we urge on going into the weeds, let's all hold it back as hard.
I know
as
we actually
can.
expect Joseph to kind of help us out with that because he's like the professor one that like
Throw
is
us like
smarter than us.
He's playing fucking Nintendo right now, dude. What game is that you're playing?
Playing Super Mario 64 right now.
I got too much guitar talk.
That's cool. That's a good idea. It's kind of like stay busy while you're chilling. I like it.
It's actually helping me focus. It's great.
That's cool.
I have no idea what I'm doing in this level right now.
I'm gonna start playing bricks and balls.
If anyone wants to look up What Dry World first star, how to get the first star in What Dry World, let me know.
That's hilarious. As we were looking for Professor to pull us out, and then he's like, "Here's another more weeds."
No idea what it is.
No, usually his ADHD would or his OCD or ADHD would pull us out of the weeds, but now he found a way to like medicate himself, and so
different weeds.
Like,
different weeds because I wanted to start talking video games, dude. I felt the urge.
All right, let's let Anthony talk for another 45 minutes.
I was actually quiet for quite some time.
No, I'm not saying you were. I'm just joking. Like, I'm just saying he wouldn't care. He'd be like playing the game.
Yeah.
All right. No. The real first question we need to get back to is about Dan joining his first band.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
When did you start playing with other people?
Well, I started playing with other people probably around 1990-ish. I had a friend that played drums. Well, I met a friend of mine named Jeff Shepler. He was in my first real band was called Ton, and but prior to that, we were jamming together. I knew a drummer. He was a guy that he played drums just casually for fun, but we would go over and jam with him, and we actually started writing some songs. And Jeff had been in bands before and really wanted to be in a band. I never even thought about being in a band. I just played Metallica riffs, and so after hooking up with him, then I started thinking more about actually being in a band. And this drummer that we were playing with, he just wasn't into that. He just didn't want to take it that seriously. So I knew another guy who played drums, and so we hooked up with him, and he had a rehearsal room, which was in an old schoolhouse. And we practiced in that schoolhouse for like 13 years or something like that.
Wow.
But so we end up hooking up with him. We go down to the schoolhouse and we jam with him, and we're like, okay, this guy is pretty good. We started playing him some of our stuff. We started putting songs together. Then we brought another friend of ours in to play guitar, and that was what formed my first real band. And so we had not discovered death metal at that point, but all of us were into thrash metal. And so we were kind of trying to keep it thrashy, kind of groovy type
How was
stuff.
Putting those songs together? Were you going home writing riffs? Was everybody kind of contributing to the thing, or was there one main focus?
It was Jeff and I to start writing riffs and putting them together. Nope, that's the bass player.
Oh, sorry.
He was the bass player vocalist. And then when our other friend Paul came in, he was a guitar player. He started throwing riffs in too. So everybody was contributing. And our first demo, we ended up having it all transferred or taken off tape and put into WAV files. And I debated on releasing it because it's just like, it's not great and it's not death metal. But it was okay for what it was. But so we had some friends that were into death metal, and they started coming over to the practice room, and because we'd hang out there, we practiced like 3 times a week, and we'd hang out and drink beer and listen to music. And some friends were bringing some death metal bands over, and at first we were just not sure, what to make of the vocals on like Cannibal Corpse and stuff. But
yeah,
pretty quickly we were like, okay, this shit is good. This is the direction we want to head. And so we started, by the time our first demo was 4 songs, by the time we moved to our second demo, another 4 songs, it was definitely death metal. So the switch happened very quickly.
Talk just about, you said Cannibal. mention a few other bands that may have been in that mix, because Cannibal is such a frequent one that everybody reacts to Chris's or George's vocals if you come across those for the first time. But if you got some other possible things that you heard at that time, because you're saying everybody's bringing a bunch of different things. Let's hear those.
Well, I mean, it was mostly the typical ones. It was Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, Deicide, Suffocation. I got into Bolt Thrower pretty early. Those are the bands that come to mind.
Yeah.
But you know, then it just, once we discovered those bands, then it was just like, we had some friends. There was a grindcore band in Ohio called Drogheda, and they were trading tapes in the underground. And so Buddy Mitchell, who was the guitar player, he kind of clued me into this thing. He's like, hey, there's this whole network of people out there, and you know, you can you record your demo tape and you can trade it with these people. You make up little flyers, make copies of them. You send your flyers out as well as other bands' flyers. You know, I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard this whole story before.
Yeah, but I love hearing it every time, dude. So keep going.
So once he clued me into that, I was like, holy shit. So he gave me a bunch of flyers. He's like, just write to some of these people, send them some of your flyers, tell them about your band, see if they want to trade demo tapes. So I started doing that. And once I started making connections with people and actually getting demo tapes in and sending ours out, I was just totally into it. I was just, because, you know, with no internet, it was the only way you could get your stuff out there. And so
I was waiting. I want to know, this is a separate side question, because your introduction to more extreme music was through punk and crossover type stuff. What was your first introductions to grind and grindcore and crust punk and the more extreme styles of what, you know, that punk is what is a precursor to something that you would have come across in the more extreme versions of things. So I just want to know about your grind and grindcore introduction as well.
Well, I remember the first time I heard Brutal Truth, Extreme Conditions.
Yes.
I was just like, I heard the drums and I was just like, what is going on? Like, he's playing that fast?
Yeah.
I was just like, I was blown away. I was just like, that is fucking crazy, man. And so that was probably the first time I really heard something that fast. I mean, I remember having Napalm Death, From Enslavement to Obliteration, and like Carcass, Symphonies of Sickness. And like, I heard the blast beats, but I just, at that point in time, I just didn't know what they were.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew the sound. It was just like a sound, but I didn't know actually what was going on until later.
I guess it's a crazy question to ask you this, but when do you think that you may have made the epiphany of there's a connection between that early punk that I was listening to while I was skating to this Brutal Truth, this Napalm Death? Because there totally is. It's
a
direct line, you know. Even if it came later in life, we make those epiphanies like, oh shit, all the punk I used to listen to back in the day is totally linked to Napalm Death, you know, Brutal Truth, His Hero is Gone, all these other groups that I made that like fallback connection of something that I came across in my life. Like, oh, I found a new link in this web of things that I'm falling down into, you know?
It was probably a little later that I fully realized it, but I do remember Napalm Death always talking about the fact that they were into punk.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I remember hearing that, but fully making that connection probably happened later. But yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense though, because that energy and speed is, what inspired those grindcore bands to just hit the drums way faster.
Yep.
And yeah, like I said, it took me I think the reason I brought up Brutal Truth was because I think that's when I kind of finally was like putting the connection together, like, oh, this sound I'm hearing that is blast beats that's so dirty, like on From Enslavement to Obliteration, and now you can hear it a little more clearly, and now I realize what's happening with the drums. And which I don't know what year that came out. We might have even been playing blast beats by then, I don't know, but I remember
early 90s.
Yeah,
90s for sure.
I remember trying to explain blast beats to our drummer that we had, and how we were trying to incorporate those into our music, because once we discovered death metal, we're like, yeah, this has to be a part of it. And I mean, he was on board with it. He just, obviously didn't know how to do it at the time. So we kind of
But you built him. Did he build it up to be able to execute what you guys were envisioning?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, shit. I mean, we put out like 4 demos. We've ultimately did like 3 full-length albums, and yeah, so that was the band I was in throughout the 90s. And we ended up releasing a couple of our demos on a CD together through Pathos Productions, and then our first full length came out on United Guttural, and which that kind of led to some cool things. Some more people started taking notice of us when we finally got past the demo tape stage and started making CDs.
Yeah.
Getting out there, and
I remember hearing about Ton, dude, for sure. I remember hearing about Ton. I asked you these 100%. Questions just so you could tell your story, but Ton was definitely a band that came across my radar very early in my digging stages of getting to where we're at right now. And it was something that I enjoyed when I came across it, for sure.
That's cool. We had a demo tape that is called Blind Follower, and it was just 4 songs. I think it was 4 songs. Could have been 5. I don't even remember at this point. And a lot of people kind of grabbed onto that, which people still talk to me about that sometimes. It's been re-released a couple of times. And then our first full length was called Plague. And I don't know if you guys know much about United Guttural Records, but it was Rich Lipscomb from the band Flesh Grind. It was his label.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had met him on a couple of occasions, and he was cool, and we had traded demo tapes, so he was familiar with the band. And I remember he just called me randomly one day, and I can't even remember how he got my number. And he was like, "Hey man, I'm starting up this record label, and if you guys are looking to release something, I'd love to release it for you." And I was like, holy shit, man, this dude from this sick ass death metal band that I love, likes my band for some reason, and wants to release our album. And so,
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. So, we got it recorded and released it through him, and he pressed it. Nice. And we kind of a funny story. So he pressed it. He had some bands that were going to play the Milwaukee Metal Fest in 1999. And I'm pretty sure it was Devourment that was supposed to play and couldn't make it. So he asked if we wanted to take their slot. And so we're like, yeah, we had played the Metal Fest back in 95. And so we were like, yeah, we'd love to do it again. And he was going to have our CDs ready for us at the show. And so we show up to Milwaukee, and nobody knows we're supposed to be there, because we're not supposed to be there. And, they have set times for all the bands, and we're not on it because we're not supposed to be there. So we're like crossing off Devourment and writing our name. And it comes about time for us to play. And I remember, I think it was Jack Koshik, the guy that put the show on. I remember he came out and he was like, "Who is Ton and why are you here?"
Whoa.
And we were like, oh shit. And we kind of explained the situation to him, and he knew nothing about us being there. And we're like, "Look, man, we sold some of these tickets to be here. We drove 8 hours to be here. I mean, we just want to play. And I could tell, his mind, he was debating on whether he was even going to let us play. And then finally he just turned to the sound guy. He goes, let him play. And we're like, oh, back then they gave you like 20 minutes or something like that. So
yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. I think the deal was we never had to buy our own tickets. We somehow always had somebody else do it for us, but they made you buy, I think it was 20 tickets at $50 a piece. Jeez. And so $1,000 to play like 20 minutes.
Fuck,
and so,
dude.
So Rich had these tickets, and so we're trying to sell the tickets out in front of the place prior to the show, just to try and help him get his money back. And of course, people are like, well, why am I going to buy a full price ticket from you when I can just buy it at the door? So they're like looking for a discount, and we're like, well, we can't sell Rich's tickets for less than the face value of the tickets,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
dude,
that's crazy.
We've heard that pay to play situation quite some time, and I'm so fortunate to not have come up
That's
in
old
a
school
scene.
Though for them. It's definitely like more. That's like
dude. Actually,
that's an old school version of it.
I was gonna mention
Yeah.
that it's usually the younger generations that are talking about this. I didn't really know that it was still a thing that far back.
Oh yeah,
but
been playing local shows opening for national acts. I mean, they always gave you tickets to sell. It wasn't necessarily like we never had to like take money out of our pocket to buy the tickets up front, but they would give you tickets. And if obviously the more tickets you sold, the better the time slot they give you. I mean, same shit still goes on today. And I totally understand why promoters do it. They don't want people showing up and not putting any effort in. But yeah, it's hard because then you're doing all the legwork to try and get people these tickets because you want to look good to the promoter, and
you became an employee of the production company that's putting on the show, but you didn't sign a contract. He's not giving you a paycheck,
Nope.
So it is a weird situation to be put in. But then you think about just being a band that's hungry to be on a good gig,
Yeah.
And
you have an opportunity to do it. You have opportunity to play for a band that you like love. And
we Milwaukee Festival, dude. The Milwaukee Metal Fest was the shit.
Like the gathering of the fucking most underground, brutal, awesome shit. So you
Yeah.
got a chance to play that. Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, there's been Nate from Ontogeny was Soul Asunder. He was playing on Soul Asunder. Remember we played this festival or something that in Anaheim. It was like with Carcass and Suffocation and all these like huge bands and stuff. And he came up to me after the show. He's like, "Yeah, we paid $1,500 just to like play for door opening." And I was like, Jesus Christ, like that really hit me. I was like, fuck, like, because they didn't get any sound check. Like, it was just like, go right up and play. And people paying that kind of money to like go up there and like, to do that kind of thing is, it sucks. But also like, there's like what you're saying, Dan, there's a lot of facets to it. Like, do you want shows to keep coming? Do you want people to show up for you and support you? That means more heads in the audience. From a promoter's perspective, I understand. I do kind of feel like, and I could bring Joel Haston on to get his view on this. It's a big promoter out here, but like, as far as it kind of made promoters lazy, like to the fact where they could be like, this is kind of our way to do it. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we'll ensure the bands are going to pay us first. So it's not even, it's a immediate investment right back to me. So if you want to play this show, okay, give me $600 to play the show. Here's these many tickets. You have to sell this many tickets. It's like immediate money back to pay the other, because, you've heard the stories of promoters selling, 50 tickets to a huge act and they owe $3,000 at the end of the show. So there's those nightmares that happen too. So it's just a big gambling act, It's like, what do you, Joseph? What do you think?
My thing is that it kind of intensifies the inequality between rich kids playing metal or music and poor kids trying to play it. It just means that the rich kids are going to be able to play these shows, and kids who don't come from a background where they can afford to drop 800,000 aren't going to be able to play it. And so you're just going to end up with this kind of like rich kids playing metal thing, which, you know, like it's kind of going that way anyway. I think it's been cool to see like a huge kind of pushback against that practice. In theory, if it's just like everyone is an adult, everyone's like a rational actor, you should be able to like negotiate, you know, what is worth doing. But when you have like unequal starting conditions, it's just going to end up with, you know, rich kids playing these shows and poor kids not able to play.
It's the plus side of social media, and what we've been complaining about too with Spotify and stuff like that, is that now you have an avenue. If your music's fucking like, if you're gonna spark something, you can do it on your own. You don't have to like buy these tickets to like start off and do it. You could like build a following through your music with social media and stuff, and people will be like, oh, that's cool, and like listen to it and stuff like that. But back in the day, it's just like, well, you want to play with these bands, fucking money, and then we'll figure it out. And then like you'll get some like weird slot where like people are getting drinks and like, and people be doing the cross arm thing and being like, all right, it's cool. You won't get good sound. I still remember.
Entertain me.
I still remember what's it called? Just playing at El Corazon in Seattle, and Trevor Black Dahlia R.I.P. was like, he was like, dude, he's all, and I feel like I'm deaf from there too, but he was like, this place, they're really elitist, and I was like, what do you mean? He's like, they do it on purpose. They make your sound shitty from early band to the headliner. It's like shitty, better, lay band. They're like doing it on purpose, and like, so if you were to pay for that, and they're like making you sound, they're not putting the effort into you sounding good.
So you're telling me they're scooping the mids on the openers?
They're probably not scooping the mids. They're probably scooping. They're probably pushing the highs and mids so you sound scratchy and like a. So, you know,
they're scooping the highs and the lows and only leaving the mids.
Yeah,
they're chopping. But yeah, no, that's a interesting. It's just, I mean, it sucks because I don't want to call it like some sort of what it's not. I don't think it's like some sort of scam. I do think, you know, if you want to play with one of your favorite bands and stuff and they're coming through and you have that opportunity, then do it. But at the same time, it's like it's not usually doesn't turn out like a winning combination for a band doing that, especially with the tools that you have nowadays with social media. We have these tools now, so it's like try to like promote yourself, you know, get better recordings. A lot of people are putting out insane recordings from their houses now. So it's like it's getting to the point, but also Joseph's what he said rings true with the kids that have the money are gonna fucking have that recording stuff. They're gonna have the lessons. They're gonna have everything. So like then you get like another breed of brand that's like more of a band that's like more pure and more like self-taught and like artistic and stuff. And there's not just like taught by like brilliant musicians the whole time, that like have their own kind of like version of music that you'll run into every now and then that you're like, whoa, what the fuck is that? Like Diego or something like that you don't see someone like Diego pop up ever. You know, it's like that's the kind of guy that is just felt music in his own way, and that's the way he made it and stuff. So I don't know.
And those kids, no, I know, but those kids on Christmas, they get the interface instead of the crate head.
Yeah,
you know?
They get the interface. Yeah,
they get the at-home setup to where they can broadcast themselves for Christmas. You know,
amp Sims.
Santa Claus should just give everybody the Gojira plug-in, neural DSP, whatever, and just call it a day.
It's just a stocking stuffer now, dude.
Because
the
you can
Petrucci plugin, dude. The Petrucci plugin is the GFX crate, dude. that's the Blue Voodoo crate, dude. If you want like top of the line. But you can detune yourself. There's like 50 different amps and stuff, and I don't know. For me, I only use that one now. But I do go back to the Gojira one every now and then just to fuck around, just with my headphones on. But
I have it right there on my screen. It's in my old dock here. Gojira.
They're getting close. Like, but yeah. I remember because I mean, for for a bear, if you want to get a plug-in, I just wait for Black Friday and they're 50% off, and I'm like, cool, I'll pay $60 for this, not 120.
Good
you
to
know,
know.
like, yeah.
Damn, I paid 120. I think.
Dan, did you guys tour at all with Ton? Did you guys do any cool runs?
You guys do a ton of touring. Sorry.
Shit.
We never actually toured, but we traveled on the weekends a lot. So we played all over the place. We played with a lot of the classic bands. Like we played with Disgorge.
Nice.
Yeah, we played a Texas.
What era?
It was Texas Grind Fest in '99. Matty Way was on vocals.
Damn.
Wow.
That same show, Skinless played, Cephalic Carnage. Shit, I forget who else. But it was stacked. It was just like the Ohio Death Fest back in the day. I don't know if you guys have seen any of those old flyers. You know, we played.
But I did see the flyers. Never made it out to the show, and I am always jealous to look at those flyers because it was, I came across it just like a little past old enough to go to all that stuff. I did go to the first couple of Maryland Death Fests and got to play one of them, but dude, so how far was that festival from you? The Ohio Fest?
Oh, real close. It was in Cleveland, like an hour away. So we played that a couple of times, and that was a great fest. I remember seeing Gorgasm and Skinless and Dying Fetus, Deeds of Flesh. I mean, you just look at the flyers. It's crazy. The band.
You guys grab a hotel and stay for the whole thing?
Well, we were only an hour away, so we just go home at the end of the night.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of Gorgasm, I remember I forget what year it was, but there was such a buzz about that band, and I had never heard of them. And everybody was talking about them, and I'm like, what is it with this band, And they got up on stage, and I was like,
now I know what it is.
I totally know what's up with this band now. And what's funny is that, with Damien moving to like the main vocalist, is back in those days, they had all three guys up front were doing vocals.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember from that show thinking his vocals were the strongest and the best.
Hell yeah, dude. Shout out Damien, dude. A brother of the show. And
he's been on, right?
Yeah, he's been on. He's definitely been on.
Jesus. But no, me and Sasha are like, we're constantly on social media sending stuff like all day long, like memes and talking and stuff. Like I'll post a guitar thing and he'll be like, he cracks me up.
Yeah.
He still just judges things. He's just all, dude, fucking not enough down picking, dude. What's going on? And I'm like, I know for me, I'm a really fast down picker. So like I was always, but I had that naturally. So I was never I never worked for it. So it was like just a twitch that I had. And like for him, he's just like, dude, don't post that shit. It's not enough fucking down picking, dude. You gotta and it always cracks me up that like it's still a flex. I mean, it is a flex because you have to have a really good twitch muscle and be able to hold it for a long period of time to be able to do the down picking like they do. But it still cracks me up that he's still 6'5". He's just like fucking, I don't know, dude. Why aren't people posting fucking more suffocation, like down picking fucking videos?
That could be a small percentage of why people look at Gorgasm differently because they don't.
Shit, Damien turned 50 yesterday.
Yeah, I just wished him happy birthday, dude. And him, no,
I missed it.
I thought it was today. Today's Damien's birthday. Yesterday was.
Don't question Ian. You're gonna question Ian.
I am.
Ian knows.
I sent it. I thought I sent Damien the happy birthday today, dude.
We just say you're in Australia, and just even though it's even
like Murray, happy birthday tomorrow.
Yesterday or tomorrow. Oh, he's calling you. You're late, dude.
Oh fuck, dude.
Sorry. Ian knows more than you do, dude. It's not even fucking.
And Mike DeSalvo was. I thought Mike DeSalvo was yesterday, and I did hit that one on the target. So
we played with Cryptopsy back in the day too, when DeSalvo was in the band.
Oh damn,
dude!
In New York City.
Mike's been on the show quite a few times, and that is one of the dudes that is such a straight up dude that no matter how many times I hit him up, he's the same guy the whole time, dude. And
I love that guy.
shout out Mike. Happy birthday.
I actually met him before that because I think it was like 95, we played our first out of state show ever. It was a fest that Internal Bleeding put on, and his old band Infestation played that show. And so we met him there, and I still remember to this day waking up on Chris Purvis's floor of his apartment, and Mike DeSalvo was sleeping on a trash bag that was full of his clothes. But yeah, we traded demos. I got the Infestation demo, and that was another cool thing. First time ever going out of town. We had set up a show for Internal Bleeding, so they paid us back by bringing us out. And it was Internal Bleeding, Oppressor, Infestation.
God damn, dude.
Disgorged. I think it was Disgorged that Dave Koros was in before back in the day. Or so.
I think so.
Okay.
It was, it's just, you look back and like, especially those old Ohio Death Fest flyers, it's amazing the lineups they had and the bands from that era that are still active. It's fucking crazy.
It is, dude. And you're still active today too. There's enough energy that we absorbed in that time in our lives that we never want to let go of this shit. We want to keep contributing to it, Yeah. And hearing your story of all the different bands that you've played with too, and calling those guys my friends, and knowing that you were playing with them while I was a child, it makes me feel really good, dude. I just would love to be a fly on the wall. I'm swatting flies right now as I'm talking, but I'd love to be a fly on the wall of those Ohio Death Fests that you're talking about, dude. And mentioning United Guttural too, that was one of those record labels that we could trust when we were in our adolescence.
100%.
Trying to discover new things over and over again every time we go to the record store, and going for the record labels, going for the album covers and all this kind of stuff. United Guttural was one of those boxes that if it was checked, it would be in my hall that day, as long as and I'm going to say this, the slam or it's not, I didn't call it slam back then, but the Devourment style death metal, where it was so extreme with the song names and the content, it did still get me. I didn't really, my rebuttal to your reacting to the vocals is me reacting to the content.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous, some of the names and stuff. And, like, we were never into that for our music, but I mean, even you saying that, we played with Devourment in New York City. Dehumanized used to bring us out there, and we played with Dehumanized and Dying Fetus in New York City, because the Dehumanized guys were super cool to us and brought us out a few different times. I mean, I feel like I have so many stories. We don't have enough time for it all.
We got the time if you got the time, Dan. Hey, we're on your time. You're further along in the day than we are. So,
well, I'll tell you a quick story about going out to New York City, where George from Dehumanized brought us out for a show.
Shout out George. I love George.
Yep, he brought us out for a show, and we drove out. I think it was after work on like a Friday or something. We were playing a Saturday night, I think it was. And so we drive out. We're getting to New York. We were stupid. We were young. We're drinking beers on the way, probably smoking weed, And we get into New York City, but like, we're on the freeway, and there's no GPS back then, so we had this big fucking road atlas. And we do not know where to go. And we saw this cop pulled over on the side of the freeway, and we're like, man, just pull over and just see if he can point us in the right direction. And so we pulled over next to him, and we're like, hey man, this is where we're going. We're out of town, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, you just go here, you go there, blah, blah, blah. And he could tell we didn't know what the hell he was talking about. So he goes, just follow me. And so he puts his lights on,
Nice.
Yeah, he pulls out in front of us, and we're following him. And those orange things that divide the road that are kind of on like a swivel.
Yeah.
He fucking just drives right over them. So we drive right over them, and he gets us on the right highway. And as we go to the off ramp or whatever, he just kind of points out the window and sends us on our way. And we get there.
That's sick.
We're going. So we show up to where George lives at like 1 a.m, and I don't know if we had like a rented minivan and a trailer or something, but we show up like 1 a.m, and these are like high-rise apartment buildings, like a bunch of them together. And as soon as we show up, like all these people were like out and about, and dude, we had a cooler, and they're like asking us for beer, and we're just like, oh my God, is our shit gonna get ripped off overnight? And so we go into George's place and spend the night, and the Devourment guys were there also. And the next morning we wake up, and Jeff, the bass player, and I were like, well, let's go out, just check on the van, make sure everything's good, because it wasn't the best part of town. We walk out, we get in the van, we're like, well, let's just walk up the road. It's New York City. Let's see what's going on. So we get about a block or two away, and we're just like, yeah, there's nothing to see here. This is not a good part of town. And so we walk back to the van, get in for some other reason real quick. And as we walk away from the van, this car just zooms up from the other side of the street and pulls up on the curb, and like 4 dudes get out, and we're just like, what the fuck? And then we notice that they have badges on. And so they just start hammering us with questions about, what are you doing here? What are you getting out of the van? You don't look like you belong here, kind of thing.
Damn, dude.
We're like, oh, we're just staying here. We're in a band, blah, blah, blah. And I'll never forget the last thing the cop said to us is, before he got in his car, he goes, you're taking your life into your own hands walking around out here. And I was just like, okay, let's go back inside.
I'm out of this area now.
But we played a club that night called Castle Heights. I don't know if you've had people on here talk about that club, but it was just this tiny little club in Queens, and they had a lot of death metal shows there. And it was kind of like Dehumanized home turf kind of place. And we played a bunch of shows there, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool going out there.
Yeah, we've never played Queens. We've only done, I've done New York City. I don't know about Casey and Joel. Did you guys do anything outside of
Queens? I think it was always like,
we stayed in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn was it wasn't like it was now when we stayed there. It was kind of rough. Now it's kind of
nothing. There's nothing rough. New York was, compared to like St. Louis or Baltimore or Detroit, those were kind of like the more rougher areas where we were kind of like, well, coming from, at the time we were living in Santa Cruz, like Bay Area, Santa Cruz, then going to like harder places. We were like, whatever, dude, it's fine. They'll be down. It's okay. And they're like armed guards outside, like to load us in. We're like, oh shit, okay, what's going on here? And they're like, oh no, just like last month some guy got shot in the head and they stole his gear. I'm like, okay, well, to them they're like saying it like it's no big deal. Just like I'm gonna add Joseph back. I just saw him sit back. But just as far as like no big deal, like, oh whatever, dude. Just like, yeah, we're gonna help you.
It's
I'm just
rough.
like this little sheltered like beach kid, just going to like the fucking gnarly towns, just going like, whoa, okay, well, this happens, all right.
We're just like energetic little punks that want to come play our music places, and the venues that take us in on these.
I did an episode of Heavy Hole.
Heavy Holes? Is it a podcast? Oh,
yeah, I did it a couple years ago. Oh yeah, yep.
I love that name, dude. Heavy Hole.
That actually is sick, dude. That's it's a metal podcast.
Yeah, he gets underground death metal dudes on there.
Nice, dude.
I've been over 2 years ago that I did that. Now, he's a real good interviewer too. He does, well, like you guys, he does the whole history and and all that stuff. But
that's cool, dude. Well,
very good podcast.
If he's a good
shout out, Big Will.
I hope we own up to that.
Heavy Hole.
But what I was gonna say was our opportunities to play in certain places when we're on tour we are faced with certain discrepancies when it comes to the places that we play. Everybody's been either in a place where they're threatened or they actually get broken into. It's a common thing. I constantly watch dudes who are either getting broken into or their van breaks down, and there's these obstacles that happen so much more frequently for the underground metal musician that I think not only are detrimental, but at the same time, they build the callous around that artist that if they decide to go further into this, they know they came across either getting their stuff broken into, the van breaking down, or even these situations where somebody might be threatening their livelihood, which is in these trailers that we're dragging along. The crates and the double stacks that you guys spent all your money on
and scooped all the mids out of.
and scooped all the mids out. And I think
when you scoop the mids.
it shows the drive of our people. I do feel like it really truly takes all that as
scoop them.
hashtag scoop mids. Yeah, I think that's a new one.
Are they still hashtagging? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I'm getting
but
old.
We are.
There it goes.
I don't even think
kids these days. I don't know.
Is the kids these days? Are kids these days still hashtagging? Are they still pound signing?
Or is that like already like late?
No, they just ask Meta AI for what the answer they need or whatever.
Yeah, GPT or whatever.
Just like
just
TikTok.
like at ChatGPT. It's like a TikTok thing.
Yeah,
I'm still TikTok free. I've never. I mean, I went on it one day, so I did it. But I'm gonna stand by. I'm not into it.
Not to get into the weeds. Now, I wanted to hear this organic story as it was unfolding.
I don't even know what I was finishing.
Stay on track.
I think that
don't abandon us again. Then
sorry, I had to get lit.
We have a lot of obstacles to get there, but we still prevail through the obstacle course.
Yeah, and I think when you're traveling to new cities, you don't fully understand the scope of what's going on there. Just like that story I just told in New York. Like we were just going to take a stroll. We had no idea where we were at, and you go into those situations and you don't live there. You don't know.
Yeah. Dan Eggers,
different thing, like taking a stroll down the heavy hole. It's like it's I mean it is. I used to do a really dumb thing, and I've talked about it a few times. Where I used to ask people, "Hey, what's the craziest street around here to walk down?" And I'd be drunk, and this is like a 22-year-old Joel move. I was like drunk. I'm like, what's the most in Detroit? They're like, oh, it's over there. It's like right down over the overpass. From Harpo's, just go over the overpass, make a right, then a left down the 3rd Street, and I would just walk down it and be like drunk, like I just want to check out like really like aggressive neighborhoods. I don't know why. I was like such a dumb
gorilla through so many neighborhoods, dude.
Well, I would do a thing where where people would come at me and I'd act like I'd unhinge and like hit myself, and people would be like, "Oh, fuck that," and like would walk away from me.
It was like an experiment to see how many people.
It was, and it was the dumbest experiment I've ever done. But I did get to see a lot of the there's just places out there that are just completely different than like, oh, fucking waves and weed and blah blah. It's like
waves and weed. Dude,
there's
that's
like
all
there's
I need,
anger.
bro.
There's a lot of anger out there too. Yeah. There's a lot of anger and like, get the fuck out of here, like yelled at me and shit. And I was like, oh, okay.
No,
now I know.
Find me where there's waves and weeds, dude. I don't need all your bullshit, dude.
I do have a little Cali
That's
connection.
Not my bullshit.
Oh yeah,
all right, do it.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I lived in Ohio with my dad and my stepmom, but my mom lived in the San Diego area for like 40 years or something like that. So
wow.
As a kid, I would go to California every year for like 3 to 4 weeks, and I'd be in the San Diego area. So
that's fantastic.
Go down to like Pacific. Yeah, Pacific Beach, and
Yeah.
I got to do some surfing and stuff. And so, for a kid from Ohio, it was pretty cool to be able to go out there and spend time.
Nice. Do you eat good Mexican food out there too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. San Diego's got some of the best Mexican food I've ever eaten in my life, dude.
Yeah, dude, we shred.
Casey knows what's up. Casey took me to all the places that we went to were so fucking good, dude.
There's an Ohio band called The Terminator we played with on Bloodletting. Do you remember that band? The Terminator. It was Toledo, Ohio. I don't know why I still remember that band.
I don't remember that band.
At the Pink Eye? The Pink Eye was the place that had the AC.
Oh. That's Oklahoma. I remember that.
I heard the Ohio.
No, there was. I mean, Ohio was kind of Toledo and stuff. I don't know where that is in relation to you, but I remember like the first. It's like getting culture shocks and stuff, and us loading in, and they're like on the fly or on the very front of the door. They're like, no white shirts. That was like
this is a random thing.
I was like, what the fuck
was Toledo one of the places?
Like, I asked them though. This was gang related.
The cut alcohol where it was half percentage on the beers was Toledo.
That's Oklahoma. There's certain places that even in there's Nebraska. There's a lot of places that are Bible Belt places that Steel Reserve, because back in the day we were young and broke, so we were drinking Steel Reserves and stuff because
8% at home.
8%, and it was literally 2% Steel Reserves.
That's whack, dude. Get it out of here.
Why am I drinking this?
Gross.
I'm taking all the pain for nothing.
Pointless, dude.
God.
Wake up with the same hangover,
I know, it's like all the same chemicals, but like no alcohol. Like, fuck. But no, that's interesting. So you going from the Midwest and going to San Diego and stuff, like that was kind of. I mean, what would you say the difference is? Like, there's a lot of differences, but like going from there to the coast.
I mean, just the obvious things like the mountains, like we don't have those here, and just being able to go to the beach. And I used to ride my skateboard like up and down the boardwalk at Pacific Beach when I was a kid. Just
rad.
I just ride up and down there. I'd sit on a bench and watch the surfers. And one summer I was out there, and my mom had to work a lot, and so I spent like a week going to it's called the Mission Bay Aquatic Center, and every morning we'd go surfing, and every afternoon it would be like we'd be on a Hobie Cat or do we might have water skied or whatever. And so it was really cool to go out there and spend time out there, and I liked it a lot when I was a kid.
I feel like it's rubbed off on your vibe a lot. Like I feel like you have that. If you told me you were from California, I'd be like, yeah, totally, he's from California.
Sure. I actually felt that same thing. I was like,
that's funny.
he feels like a coastal dude.
I mean, I was going out there from the time I was probably 8 or 9 until I was an adult. I mean, every year. So,
it's wild to think that. How long were you out here each time?
Anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, dude. That's enough time for you to soak up. I remember going out to Missouri during the summer, and I'd come back with a Missouri accent.
Well,
I'd be like, my cousin Jeffrey.
I love kind of like that, like having this other place that is kind of your like second home kind of thing, like as like that nostalgia as a kid. Like Colorado was that for me, Denver, like going to see my uncle and my aunt and their family. So I had like on my dad's side like 2 different families out there, and it was just even more than that. They had cousins, and dude,
it's Morrison, right? Morrison, Colorado.
Yeah, like out by Red Rocks, like out there. And that's so insane that Cannibal just played there. And I mean,
Red Rocks is supposed to be a sick place to go.
No, Casey took us.
I used to go there as a kid. We on the Bloodletting, we like walked around that place.
Thanks for letting me.
Yeah, it was so great.
That might have been the one you missed.
Well, it was just so cool having that
Bloodletting. It literally was the one I missed. No, I went to Colorado. I played Colorado with you guys.
No, you didn't. No, that's when you went to the wedding. Yeah. No, we played a show.
You missed Red Rocks.
Just to be clear, we did not play.
I'm thinking of Severed. Sorry, guys.
We played.
I did Colorado was Severed.
Our first tour, we just headlined Red Rocks. We were like, "Fucking no."
How
but no,
that's
that's like the most beautiful. What would you say, Casey? That's the most beautiful like amphitheater that's available.
It's so cool. I mean, I used to go there as a kid. The first concert I ever went to was Moody Blues there when I was like just a little kid. I like remember the lights. And it was like my first concert experience, and it was like I don't know, like early 90s or late 80s. No, I must have been late 80s. Like I was pretty young. But anyway,
that's a cool thing to say that your first concert was at a place that's still thriving right now. Because I don't remember.
Well, dude, one of the best venues in
the
United States.
The rad shit is that Cannibal just played there with was it Amon Amarth? Was that what it was or whatever? Yeah. But it was like, dude, and then like Rutan and stuff, like posting all the pictures and like it's him on the big screens and like I'm like, dude, that's fucking dude, imagine how epic that would sound. Like it's like a unique experience seeing Cannibal like at Red Rocks because it's like the specific acoustics of the rocks and all the shit and everything like outside, like in this crazy rad, like imagine how it sounded. That's just I wish I had gone to that, dude.
It sounds sick. I'm watching videos of it right now.
Look at Ian's flexing the sick drummer reach because he's like, oh dude, the backstage is all built into the rocks. I'm like, sick dude, I'll never see it in my life. But I'm glad that you were able to experience it. Ian, what band did you see there where you were backstage, dude? Throw it in the comments.
That's sick, dude. Yeah, when I was staying with him a couple months ago when I went out for the work thing, my uncle like took me in his like little Porsche thing. We like cruised around that area, and it was like we were like driving into Red Rocks, like, but like there was like a bunch of cars because like some event or something. But we were like going in around. It was pretty funny.
Dude, cool. Ian, were you sober while you watched Fish? Who's sober while they watch Fish? That's my guess.
Dude, Heavy Hole podcast. I need to get on that. But what's it called? I gotta show you just like how this is insane. It was 2 seconds of it, but my internet sucks, so it'll probably be shitty. But look at this. Can you imagine?
Here we go.
I just for the algorithm, you don't know what riff that is. You'll never know.
But look at the rocks around
it. Talking over it.
It's like Willie Nelson.
No, that's a live video.
Dude, I mean,
it's live, dude. It's not.
I really would love to go see a show there, dude.
Oh, come on, turn to the rocks. Come on.
I've watched enough. Dude, I've watched enough footage of this place.
But Cannibal there though.
Dude,
that's like that's like, so cool, dude.
Like it's like Cannibal on Ace Ventura, now Cannibal at Red Rocks. Like they're doing it again.
I just saw that tour in Ohio. It was fucking awesome.
Dude, what are the horns for? What were those horns for?
Amon Amarth.
Yeah.
Oh shit! They're just at
do you even metal, dude?
Do you even live?
No, I don't metal as hard as Amon Amarth, I guess.
No, dude. I don't either. I'm not a Amon Amarth guy, but you know, it's still. I mean, I don't hate him. I'm just like it's Lamb of God, Amon Amarth. There's certain bands that just like skip me, where I'm like,
okay, so. And I'm just it's gonna sound pretentious, but I'm talking about pretentious people.
Sorry.
Why not cover that before Cannibal's done? That has nothing to do with Cannibal. You know what I'm saying? Like those horns, they didn't have.
Damn, so you're like the opening band that Danzig fought. Like,
show respect to all the artists that are part of that. Now that just shows the ego. It shows the ego of Amon Amarth. Like, no, we're gonna have our horns out.
Hey, Rutan will just punch out Amon Amarth like
dude, Danzig. If Rutan punched out one of those horns, I would be on. It would be like the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, dude.
No, dude, no. You have to. They're extending. I mean, my last name's Horner, so I don't hate it. You know,
I know.
I don't hate the fact that they have.
You make horns, dude, and Rutan takes them down, dude. He fucking crushes.
No,
them,
if you're they're headlining the show at Red Rocks. I don't think Cannibal. I love Cannibal to death. I don't think they could sell out fucking Red Rocks. I don't think
this has nothing to do with Cannibal. What I brought up was about Amon Amarth, dude.
Yeah,
they
gave them that
cover up
opportunity.
those horns, dude. That's part of your show. It's not part of Cannibal show.
So you got to pay for a blanket that's all big and stuff.
Oh, dude, and they fucking do gigantic like
the horns piss off Anthony.
What are you so worried about horns on stage when you got open-toed sandals? Like,
no, but what I'm saying is, like,
do we have a new Joseph right here? This is a new Joseph.
Yeah, exactly.
He's helping us along with the timeline.
Thanks, Grant.
Grant, if you want a job, we can't pay you, dude, but you can be a.
I just farted so brutal.
Animal farts are
Casey
they
just
smell
ripped,
like under your nose.
Casey just ripped a 5 banana fart, dude.
It was Jesus.
It's a 5 banana fart. All right.
So when did you split from Ton and get into your next band?
No, dude. Okay, just so you know, Grant, you got a pass tonight, dude. But dude, we're just having a conversation, dude. So we didn't need to give in to your shit.
Whoa, Anthony. Whoa, Anthony. Anthony had maybe one beer, dude. He's getting a little aggressive. But so he's all, fuck you, Grant, dude.
Yeah, dude.
We know how to run a show.
I'm just glad Grant's interested. You know.
Yeah, Grant's interested.
No. That's his point.
Take it back. Take it back.
But I think that no, I'm not taking it back. I think that the conversation just needs to go. That's all I'm saying. And if that people have a problem with that, dude, like
they don't have a problem.
Go watch Heavy Hole, dude.
That's what I'm dude, Heavy Hole. I have the fucking tab pulled up. I'm
just joking. That was a dick thing to say right there.
Terrible.
I'm just fucking around,
Anthony, dude. You're terrible. Anthony, you're terrible.
He does not reflect.
No, I'm not. I'm not terrible. Because it's a joke.
It's not a representation of the views of this.
Yeah, it's not the views.
Dude, I'm having a great time tonight.
Right, exactly.
I hope you guys are too. Everybody else listening to this, Dan,
we love spicing
you're
you
having
up,
a good
dude.
time too.
We love spicing you up. It's fun.
All right, dude. Drum roll. It is time. It is time.
Yes, I was waiting for that all night.
I'll say most of the time you guys throw it up previous, like no, you guys put it up at the right time.
Grant's roasting you, dude.
I was going to say at the beginning, we're not ending this until we get a Anthony drunk alert.
Wait, what does he say? All right, go back to your horns won't bother me. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Grant,
it does. You were talking about
your
the
roast doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does. You're talking about the horns in the back of the fucking set the whole time, and he's like, "Well, let's talk." He's all, "When did split?" He asked a question, and then you were like, "Whatever, dude. Fuck you." We do our show the way we do it, and
yeah.
And then he's like, "All right, dude. Whatever. Talk about your fucking horns then."
All right, I love you, Grant. I'm glad you're here with us tonight, dude.
I'm glad
Grant
you're
rules.
here too.
I have had a few beers.
Thank you for being interested.
I just want you to know, like, that the whole show is just us hanging, guys. So if we don't get to what you want right away, I'm sorry. It'll eventually most likely come out. And Dan, I do want to get to you.
Okay.
Professor's back. He's going to keep us out of the weeds as much as we can.
We're getting closer to muting Anthony, but we'll see.
No, you're not. You'll
just
never
for like 2 seconds. If you mute Anthony for 2 seconds, he gets like he'll like scream at us after the podcast.
So you guys want me to get angry? That's what you guys want.
No, you're already on it, so we're just gonna keep pushing it.
I'm definitely not angry. Do I sound angry? I'm not trying to be angry.
No, fuck you, Anthony.
No, fuck all of you guys. I love you.
God damn it. What do I have to do? I don't know where you guys were.
I'm gonna sit back for a second.
I don't know the next question to ask. Sorry.
I'm just chilling, guys. I'm chilling.
Oh, everyone's awkward. I thought
we're making it more and more awkward. Just by
funny.
Now we're having a good time.
Stop looking at me.
Laughing.
Yeah, as I stop looking at me, just put it right on me. Hey, we're hanging, guys.
No, we're having. Oh, dude,
we're just kicking it.
It's awesome. Okay, so back to Master Puppets. So it's your favorite album, huh?
Oh, we went way back track.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that where we're at? Oh shit.
No, we're talking. No, we're so ton and stuff. You're jamming with people. Was it pay to play the last? No.
That's kind of where we left off. We were talking like late
weeds
90s.
Fuck. Okay. All right. So moving on from Ton, I mean, you were in Ton recently. I remember like we've talked on the internet. I remember like about the podcast and stuff, and you were still in Ton. And I thought that it was kind of a trip that I went back and I was like, oh, he's not in Ton. So where did the transition come from?
Quickly summarize that is we disbanded in the beginning of 2001. And I was in multiple other band situations. I was in a band with one of the other guys from Ton for a while called Fully Consumed. Joseph, you actually might know the drummer from Fully Consumed because he plays in Aetherius. His name's Matt Boehner.
Oh, yeah.
So I was in Fully Consumed with him. But Ton did reform in like 2013 or 2014, which I really didn't think would ever happen. But it did, and we released an album with Ossuary Industries, played the Las Vegas Death Fest, did the CD release at the Las Vegas Death Fest, which was really cool.
Which year?
That was 2015.
Okay.
And then we played it again in 2017.
Okay.
But we, so we got back together. We put that album out. Later we released another album. I guess that happened in like 2020. So we did get back together, played some fests and stuff. We went to Colorado, played Don Evans Fest out there, Foothills Gut Fest, played Full Terror Assault. So we did some of the fest type things, and then broke up again in like 2020. And Jeff and I were playing in Fully Consumed with Matt, and we did that for a while, and then that kind of fizzled out. But that kind of led me into the things I'm doing nowadays. I was kind of looking to do something more than what Ton and Fully Consumed are doing. It just seemed like those bands probably weren't going to do the things that I wanted to do. So I was kind of just looking for other opportunities. And that's why I started up a YouTube channel and started posting more guitar videos on social media and stuff. I felt like kind of like I'm getting older. I haven't really done some of the things I want to do. And so I thought if I kind of put myself out there a little more, maybe somebody would need a fill in, or maybe something would happen and maybe I could achieve some of these things that I look to do. And that's kind of how I ended up in 72 Legions. And
nice.
Yeah. And that band has definitely given me the opportunity to do some things I've never done. So
going to that band, like 72 Legions, how did you run into them? What was the connection with you and Ton, or them and Ton, or how did they find you, or how did that all happen?
Really no connection with Ton, but Curran Murphy, the guitar player, I'd seen him around playing in another band, and I knew that he was an amp builder and did amp repairs and stuff. And I'd seen him play a couple of times, and at some point I just felt like I need to know this guy. I don't know why. So I introduced myself to him once and we talked briefly, and then I had one of my guitar amps break. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to take it to my normal guy. I'm going to take it to him because I want to see what he can fix it and I can get to know him a little bit. And so I got to know him a little bit, and he comes from more of a melodic metal background. Like he was a touring member of Nevermore and Annihilator. Yeah, he toured with Nevermore for a couple of years, played in Annihilator. He had a band called Shatter Messiah. And so he had started working on this band, 72 Legions. It was him, a vocalist, and a bass player. And they had recorded some music, and then the pandemic hit, and it just got shelved. And so fast forward a little bit, he has a friend who does some tour booking or something. And this guy has a band coming from the UK, a thrash band, and he's going to book a tour. And he said, well, if you have a band, and Curran has a lot of gear. So he's like, it's like, I'll backline this tour. And so they were going to put us on the tour. Well, I wasn't even in the band at that point. He needed a bass player. So he hit me up just to see if I knew anybody. And being that I was looking for opportunities, I was like, well, I'll play bass. And so I joined the band, started learning the music, and ultimately the tour got canceled. And but I was like, well, shit, I already know the music, so I'll stick with the band just because seems fun. And like this Curran is like he's been there, done that. He's toured the world. He's done a lot of things, but he's like the most motivated guy that I've ever been in a band with. And he was wanting to make things happen and being in that mindset of I'm looking for opportunity and I'm getting older and I want to do some things I've never done before. It just seemed like the right spot for me to be, even though sometimes it was kind of hard for me to be the bass player when I'm used to being the guitar player. But we were doing a lot of cool shit. And then at the end of last year, we got the tour with Venom Inc., Satan, and Ringworm. And that's the first time I've ever actually been on tour. I mean, I've done weekend runs and all that stuff, but I'd never actually toured. And so that was really a really cool opportunity. And all the dudes on the tour were super cool. And the Ringworm guys are from Cleveland, so we know those guys. And so that was a really good tour. We were the opening band on the tour, and we backlined the tour. So we were humping the gear every day, in and out, and which was fine. That was our role. We had a great time. And then after we got back from the tour, a couple months down the road, our vocalist left the band, which we really did not see coming. He just decided he didn't want to tour. And so when he left the band, I was like, well, I've done vocals before. It's been a really long time, but I feel like if I practice it, I can do it. And so they were like, all right, let's do it. Let's find a bass player then. So I stopped playing bass, but little did I know that we were going to get this opportunity to go on tour with Cryptopsy, Atheists, and Almost Dead in Europe. So that happened like way fucking faster than I was really ready for, but I just practiced my ass off and made it happen vocally. And so that was a really big opportunity for us. It was always a dream of mine to go to Europe to play.
Talk about that tour a little bit. What were some highlights of that for you?
All of it, man. We flew into Switzerland and we spent 2 days in Zurich and just kind of hanging out. And then we caught a train to Martigny, which was where the first show was. And there's this tiny little club called the Sunset Bar. And I mean, surrounded by mountains. I mean, you're standing in this parking lot of this venue and there's literally just mountains surrounding you. It is so fucking crazy.
From a no mountain guy too.
Yes. I mean, snow on the top. I mean, the whole thing. And
wow.
I'm just standing there going, this is fucking crazy. And not to mention, I'm standing there waiting for a giant fucking tour bus with Cryptopsy and Atheist to roll in so we can get on. I'm like,
life's good.
What is even fucking happening,
Yeah.
And so these dudes roll in, get off the bus. Everybody's super fucking cool to us. I'd met Matt from Cryptopsy before. I'd met Flo, but it was way back in the day. I didn't expect him to remember me. But everybody was super nice to us, super cool.
Such good dudes.
Dude, just a general shout out to Cryptopsy in general for just everything. Thank you. Like, dude.
Yeah.
They're the greatest. Like we got to tour with them way back, and dude, in Europe, and it was the best. And they're so fucking cool, man. They're just so welcoming and like awesome. The great people, and they're like friends, man. It's
and our drummer is 21 years old. So Flo like immediately started talking to him and kind of just
cool, dude.
Talking gear, talking technique, talking. So this is like and the funny thing too is the first night there was a separate drum kit for us and Almost Dead because we're not going to play Cryptopsy and Atheist kit. But the first night of the tour, the club was so fucking small that our drummer had to play the Cryptopsy kit, Atheist kit.
Wow.
So he's like, literally first night of the tour, he's playing that kit, and
whoa,
it was
awesome.
And he went home and slept good that night. He's like, I played that kit tonight. Dude, he got some REM.
Didn't go home, but
went home as in the giant tour bus.
That could have been the best sleep he had on the tour.
He just played the show. He's like, I'm flying home. Fuck, that's
I've made it. I'm done.
I'm going home.
Yeah, you know what I mean. No,
I know what you mean.
night, you sit back and you just have like memories, immediate memories that make you smile before you fall asleep. Dude, I played Cryptopsy's kit and I played Flo's kit tonight.
Every day was a memory. I mean, now looking back, it's all a fucking blurred memory, but yeah, the guys couldn't have been cooler to us, man. I think there was 23 fucking guys on the bus with like 2 bus drivers, a crew guy, a merch guy, all the band, double-decker bus. Everybody was super cool. Every day we all got together and unloaded the trailer, and at the end of the night, we all got together and loaded the trailer, and everybody did their part.
It wasn't like that for us. I'm just kidding. No, we had one of the best road crews on planet Earth help us. It was the Behemoth Road Crew. It was Brovar and all those guys and stuff. And yeah, when we played with Behemoth, we met up with Behemoth and stuff, and stand on stage and all the seal their crazy stuff they do. But Cryptopsy, yeah, man, I think that's probably when we first won that Black Dahlia tour, I was like, this is it. This is the coolest thing I've ever done. This is number one. And then we went to Europe with Cryptopsy and shared a bus with them. And I was like, just absolutely blown away they knew everything. So they'd been there 15, 20 times. And we're number one time going there. And very cool guys. Like always fucking extended the hand. They were family, kind of really cool people to us.
Matt is such a professional dude. Not only is he a professional, I genuinely feel like he's my friend when I talk to him. I've had time with him in physical form, and I think that how they conduct themselves as a band that has been so influential to our scene. The Cryptopsy added layers to this thing at such a early time in death metal, technical death metal, and those guys still going out there doing their thing, winning awards. They got the Juno Award.
They got the Juno. They found out right after they got on stage at our very last show of the tour.
How fucking rad is that? How good is that to feel that you're a part of something that no matter how individualistic this thing is, where we're just really truly creating art first. We're not doing this for the money. If we were doing it for the money, we wouldn't be here, So we're doing it for the passion. These guys have been doing it for so long, and 30 years into that band's career, they're winning the Canadian biggest music award, right? Juno Awards, the fucking getting the
a Grammy.
Yeah.
But for Grammys,
crazy.
For Grammys and a lot of big bands kind of awards, blah blah. But the cool thing is when a band that isn't on that pop level or humongous wins one of those awards. That's with the Grammys this year, Shakti won fucking a bunch of awards with Zakir Hussain and stuff. And I was like, fuck yes. I was like, they won like 3 or 4 Grammys or something. And I was like, fuck yes. I just saw them and my mind was blown. But I was like, that's not gonna be a thing that people vote for and give awards in America for, And to see a band like that, because usually it's if Metallica released a new album, it's every band on that metal list, it's all right, well, you lost. They're just gonna hand it to Metallica every time. It's to see a band to win an award that's watching Dream Theater win an award, Grammy. I was like, fuck yes. I was like, that's awesome. It's maybe not their best work that they've done, but I'm like, give a different band an award. Stop with going oh, Metallica's in the race. Okay, we got to give them the award for this. It's for metal or for a metal new act, Avenged Sevenfold or something. All right, give them that. It's it's not even thought about. It's it's popularity contest where to see a cool band like Cryptopsy win an award or something like that. That's that's where awards actually
hits home, dude. It hits home. Because I grew up on Cryptopsy, so it's
I remember the first time I ever heard them. Remember when I said earlier we played that fest that Internal Bleeding put on? Yeah. Well, No, it was before Mike. It was
Okay.
when Lord Worm was in the band. No, we played a fest in New York in '95, and we were hanging out the night before the show, and I think we were at Internal Bleeding's guitar player's place, Anthony, and somebody had the Cryptopsy demo, and there was a buzz about them, and they popped it in, and everybody was just tripping out on it. Like, you know, it was the first time most of us had heard it.
Right.
And so yeah, that was kind of cool.
Totally,
cool.
dude. I mean, None So Vile was the first thing that I listened to, and it's still the most potent. I think that Matt's first introduction to the band was a lot. Unspoken King too. There's so many albums that Cryptopsy continuously just like hits me and reinvigorates that project for me.
I think the tour that we did with them was the album, or his first time touring with them. After that,
dude.
he was like, because obviously they had like they were taking some chances with a couple of those songs.
But think about their career.
The Blowback though, but the Blowback and Matt was the new singer. So imagine this: you're the new singer of a legendary band. Your band decides to go a different direction in a couple songs, and Matt was like, at the time, Matt was kind of like he was a ball of anxiety, because it was kind of like the people, it's kind of like the Black Album for death metal. It's kind of like people going like, okay, we're doing clean singing and Cryptopsy now, which they didn't stick to, but it was like, I talked to Flo a million times about it on tour, but it was kind of like, he was into different styles of music and wanted to put it into Cryptopsy and stuff, and it didn't, like when you make an extreme change with a band that's like kind of pretty static in their style, then like it kind of has a little bit of pushback and stuff, and Matt had to just walk into that as the singer of that, and he ended up like making the best of it, and then fucking like dominating, like being like, I remember seeing him a couple years ago live and just being like, holy fuck, it's like one of those like guys you like toured with and like, yeah, they're fucking killing, they're doing good, fuck yeah, to like you watch them live on your own like years later, you're like, holy fuck, dude, you've like,
dude, I saw him every night. They were fucking crushing it every night,
crushing it, like professional as fuck, like this as like frontman commanding the whole crowd. It's kind of like the Flesh God Apocalypse guy, like the dude was drumming, he was like learning drums on the fly while playing in Flesh God Apocalypse when we were on tour with them, and now I saw them of like 4 or 5 or 6 years later, and he's the frontman guitar player, Francesco. He's like up there playing guitar and singing, and then like commanding this like symphony of a death metal crowd. And I'm like, I went backstage after and was like, what the fuck was that? Like I was like blown away, and like how these people like take on the challenge and just fucking dominate it, just like and blow everyone's minds.
That's the praise I want to give to Matt real quick, because you're talking about taking on a challenge. It's such a big challenge to take on a band like Cryptopsy that changes. They never follow the same path every album. It's different every album. And you had Lord Worm for the first couple, and then Mike comes in, does a couple. Lord Worm comes back and does all that stuff's great, but until Matt joins the band, they didn't have a really full-time vocalist. Dude, Matt's been with it ever since, and that's why you have to give Matt his flowers, because there was a band that constantly was changing, and when you change, maybe the vocals don't work from the previous situation you were in, and if it's just a constantly morphing thing, that's just kind of how it is. And Matt learned how, not just Matt, but the band learned, once Matt was in, this is the amoeba that's going to constantly shift around, that is Cryptopsy,
And Matt's just a unique guy with he's a fucking teacher of kids, right? Like, and his style is like, he's such a unique guy, like to take over reins of Cryptopsy and stuff. And once you start to get to know him, and
Such a good dude.
How dense of a human he is. He's a very dense human. So like, yeah, you just, at the time I kind of had the Black Album feeling about what they were putting out at the time. I was, I've told Flo about it. I was kind of like, whoa, that was a little thing, weird left turn you guys took on people. And Matt was like having to deal with it as the singer, like while Flo was in the back, just like, oh, whatever, like he had to be like in front while people were mad. I mean, they were never mad, but it was that I ever saw. But it was kind of like online. The forums were just like fucking blah blah blah, And he just took it on and fucking put his shoulder down and handled it. And I saw him later on. I was like, he is sicker than, I mean, the stage presence wise than most death metal singers I've ever seen. So it's like to go from like complete kind of like here's a situation where it's going to be tough to like you're crushing the game. Like Matt just raised the stakes and raises his level, like, and it's blown me away. So that's all. I love you, Matt.
Dan, what was your interaction with the atheist dudes? Because again, I have a similar feeling towards those guys. They're all great dudes. How did you have some cool atheist stories?
I mean, I don't know about any real stories, but just really, really nice fucking guys. I mean, Kelly, he's a hugger, and I love it.
Yeah.
He'll give you a hug, and he's a super nice guy. All the guys he has in the band are super nice guys. Got along with everybody great. They're all great players. If I'm being 100% honest, in the past, I hadn't spent a lot of time listening to Atheist. I mean, obviously I have listened to them, but I hadn't spent a lot of time. But watching them every night, I was like, holy shit, like these guys are bringing it every night. Everybody he has in the band is just killing it. They are on point. Just sound amazing. And Kelly's a really nice guy. And it's kind of funny because a lot of times at the end of the night when we're loading out, he has a little speaker in his pocket, and he's just, we're playing music all night, and he has a speaker in his pocket and just has some music going, and he's kind of just, bobbing around and helping with the gear. And
Did you take any Jaeger bombs with him?
It's funny you say that. I didn't take any with him, but I heard him talking about Jaeger and
Red Bull.
How he likes it for his voice, his vocals or whatever. And so about halfway through the tour, I had one night where I was like, my throat's feeling not bad, but a little rough. So the next night I was like, I'm going to try the Jaeger thing. So I got a double shot of Jaeger, and he's like, don't just kind of take it up there and sip it. And so when I was on stage, I just kind of sipped it and drank it. And I don't know if it helped, but my voice was fine at the end of that show.
Whoa, dude. Hey.
Because I'm not a
grandpa's medicine cabinet, dude. Actually has medicine in it.
And that was the one thing I was nervous about with the tour, was that I'm not a vocalist. I mean, I kind of am now, but like I had to work my ass off to prepare to do vocals, because I'm like, we are going on tour with Cryptopsy and Atheist, and I'm going to be the front man in Europe. I'm like, I actually had a freak out moment after we found out we got the tour, because I was like, oh my God, can I even fucking do this? And and I just practiced, and I
watched videos while you're talking. I mean, in the last 10 minutes, I watched live videos of you in Europe playing with at the Underworld in London, because I played there as well too, and we've had some crazy times there. But as far as watching you on stage, I was like, so Dan's the singer? But I was like, at the same time, I was like, he didn't look like you exactly, because you were just like, fucking, let's go. And I was like, that's the guy right now on the podcast, right? You definitely took on that role, though. I was just watching it. I was like,
I felt like I had to. I'm like, I volunteered to be the vocalist in the band after our vocalist left. I'm like, I'm okay. So this is like maybe January ish, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll do vocals if you guys want me to. It's going to take me a while to get up to speed. And then we find out that we may have this tour opportunity, and then we find out that we are officially on the tour. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I didn't think I was going to have to play a show until like May. And now I have to go to Europe as the front man opening for Cryptopsy and Atheist in March. And I'm like, fuck. And you know, my voice was not in shape and not.
Yeah. What was your technique to like, or your practice method when you have that oh fuck method or that scenario thrown at you? Like, fuck this, you don't have any time. You got to fucking get at it.
Well, and on top of that, we had a 5-song EP that we released before the Venom Inc. tour that had our old vocalist on it. And so we wanted to have something new for this tour. So Curran, our guitar player, he also has a recording studio. And so he's like, well, let's re-record these 5 songs with your vocals and then do 5 more. So now I have to record 10 fucking songs before we even go on tour. And I'm like, so I'm in the studio, like croaking out death metal vocals and trying to like find my voice in the studio. And so the recording of the album, I feel like it turned out okay, but if I would have had more time, it would have been better. But that process definitely helped me to kind of build up a little bit of stamina. And then at home, I'm just basically in front of my computer, like now, just running the songs over and over again. And, you know, throughout the time that I had leading up to the tour. And ultimately it worked out. I feel like, you know, vocals could have been better if I'd have had more time, but it all worked out.
Do you think it could have been better, or that, because I know that feeling of, like, for me, I'm that guy that needs the deadline. Like, I need like, once you have the deadline, it's like, oh shit. Like with work and stuff, I'm like, okay, I fucked around enough. I have to work now 12 hours, you know, for 4 days straight. That's the way I process things, and I'm a procrastinator. So if I give me all the room, and I'll slither through and take that room and then cuddle in it. But like for you, does that help with the whole fucking the dead, like I remember even with Decrepit, like they were like, oh, so their bass player can't do it. Do you want to join? We're going on tour with the Black Dahlia Murder. The whole tour is sold out. But you have 2 weeks to learn all the songs. And I was like, yes. But I was like, fuck, while I was saying yes. I was like, shit. Like, but you know, like I maybe knew 2 songs from Decrepit just from fucking around, but I had to learn the whole set and just fucking learn it. Like, just, you're gonna be in front of a bunch of people. You're gonna be embarrassed if you don't learn it, so you have to. Like,
yes, know? I mean that is definitely a thing, and that definitely pushed me hard because I was like, I have to make this happen. I cannot go over there and fail. I mean, when it comes to music and playing live, like I really do practice and try to be prepared, because in some of my younger days, there were times where I was on stage and I didn't feel like I was as prepared as I could have been. And I fucking hate that feeling, man. So now, like, I really, really prepare. But at the same time, that deadline, I mean, it forced me to really just buckle down. And in the wintertime, I own a lawn care landscaping business. So in the wintertime, I do snow removal. And we had a really mild winter, so I didn't have to work a lot in the wintertime. So I was just practicing every day, multiple times per day. But there was also the factor of, you know, sometimes my voice would my throat would get a little like, and I didn't want to. That was probably my worst fear, because it was such a financial investment for us to go over there. I was like, I can't get over there and like have something happen to my voice, you know? So like I didn't party a lot. I mean, yeah, I drank some beers and stuff, but like most of the time after the shows, I was in my bunk, because I did not want to be the reason that the band couldn't perform or had to perform without a vocalist or something. And
like, don't talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, I had no problems. I got through it perfectly fine, but it was a fear, and I didn't want something to go wrong because of me.
As a vocalist, I will say that you start to realize how valuable the voice is once you're out on the road. And there was a time, luckily, it fell into the puzzle pieces perfect for me, to where our 24-hour drive was one that we were missing a show, and with the severed gig, because I did lose my voice in Utah. I lost my voice. I pushed through the set. I know it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but after that set, there would be times where I'd talk to people and I'd stop talking, and then people were telling me just like, stop talking, dude. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take everybody's advice and just be mute. And I slept that night, didn't talk the next day, and then went out and did it, and it was fine. And I was thinking to myself, like, man, that's crazy that you just need to take a day off of talking and things come back. But you don't always have those days off. And they don't fall into the perfect point. Like the day off on we've all had our day offs on tour, but that might be a time where you're killing it and you're doing fine, and you wish you had that day off 10 days ago when your voice was blowing out on stage.
I think too, from the outside looking in, a lot of people probably think that being the vocalist is easy. And I kind of gained a new respect for it because, it took a lot of effort on my part to even get to where I was at. But prior to leaving for the tour, our drummer went on tour for a month playing drums for Inhuman Condition. They were on tour with Vader and Origin. So he was gone for a whole month, and we didn't practice. And so I'm practicing at home. But then when he got back in town like 2 days before we had to leave to go to Europe. So we just started hammering. We got together those 2 days and had like marathon practices. And by the second day of that, my voice was kind of destroyed. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, I hope that I didn't like hurt myself. And now I'm headed to Europe and I'm going to pay the price for this. But, I had like a solid 2-3 days with the travel. And then we spent 2 days in Switzerland before we even had to play. So I was fine. But, just those things get in your head. And my throat was hurting before we left. And I was like, oh, shit, man.
I don't want to feel like I'm on a soapbox when I say this, but now I'm starting to feel like I got a one-up on you guys right now as a vocalist, because you guys can go out and buy in 6'3". You muted me, motherfucker. You guys can go buy your fucking crate amps and your fucking whatever.
Your fucking mids.
Your mids.
Scoop your mids and make all your shit sound how you want your microphone. But I can't buy my vocal cords.
You have to learn how to use them so they don't get fucked up.
I can't go out and buy the fucking Engel amps and however the fuck you guys do your shit.
You can learn technique.
I can't change my throat to an 8-string, and learn how to do the 8-string after I change it. No, it's what it is. This thing right here is the only thing that I use to contribute to your guys' music.
Right, I'm just getting over a cold of a week, so where I would wake up every morning and couldn't talk. So I have sympathy now, because I was going like in the morning, and I was like, shit, this sucks. I was like so mad, just like.
And you could just buy a different guitar and make your voice sound perfect, dude.
Yeah, guitars are way sicker than voices. But so so much more fun. You have amps, you have pedals, you have so many things on top of the guitar. It's not even.
It makes me realize like the vocalists cannot upgrade their shit. Is there
stem cells or something? I don't know.
There's got to be some kind of thousands of dollars
Jägermeister.
Yeah, Jägermeister.
Yeah, like Kelly said, dude, just fucking Jaeger and Red Bull, dude.
So as we're hitting the 3-hour mark, Dan, actually, the last question I had actually was watching your videos while we were talking and stuff, and I looked to the 72 Legions and stuff. So I had this move where I wanted to do one of these things. I want. It's funny because as a youngin, I would kind of. I wouldn't mock people that had battle vests, but I would kind of be like, all right, well, all the bands in there suck, so fuck this guy. So you have a battle vest in the videos I saw. So do you have it close, or do you have? Can we name off some bands that you have on your battle vest?
I could run out of the room and grab it if you want me to.
Oh, do you know what's
Dude,
on there already?
Go grab it.
Oh yeah, I
grab
know
it.
what's
I
on
want to.
there.
I want to see what
you know what's on- you know what's on
on
there.
your guys.
Oh, yeah,
You
just
want
go
me?
grab it. Just
We
go
like
grab it.
physical.
Let's
I'll be
end
right
with
back.
that. End with that.
Dude, and while he does that, dude, it's the perfect time, dude. I found.
Don't take out your wiener.
Shout out, no, shout out to my coworker Cameron, dude. He found he has a motorcycle and he went into this area of the shop that we haven't gone in a long time, dude. And he found one of the things. So everybody has a shirt or a hoodie that you've lost that you wish you could have again, right?
Yeah.
Dude, the only one in the United States, dude. Wait.
Blood Red Throne?
Damn.
Yep.
Damn.
Dude. Erland.
Nice.
Shout out Erland, dude. He gave me this off his fucking back, dude, on the bloodletting tour, dude. I washed
That's
it.
awesome.
It smells great now. It smells fresh. I don't know.
Put that thing on Depop, dude.
Look at that, dude. Look at that
Damn.
fucking logo, guys. Oh shit, dude. And it's on the sleeves too.
Nice.
Erling gave this to me off his back because he knew how much Blood Red Throne meant to me when we went touring with him, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Monument of Death, dude. Monuments of Death. If you listen to that, everybody talks about Annihility, Decapitated, but dude, they were doing the same fucking shit over in a total different country. Get that shit off of here. You guys were Erland. You guys were doing stuff that I think that a lot of people should be talking about. Monuments of Death. Everybody listen to that album. Fuck Anthony Drunk alerts. And hashtag beat it out.
Beat it out.
All right, let's see this. Let's see the battle vest.
Okay, so short story. I'm not a battle vest guy either. I have never owned a battle vest until prior to this tour. But our guitar player, he kind of likes the band to have a little bit of a look kind of thing where they had the guitar players had these vests they wore, and I was always very resistant to it. And so I just go straight black when I was playing bass. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna be the vocalist, so maybe I'll consider a battle vest kind of thing. So,
or let's judge you on your battle vest.
Okay,
Extremely.
so, but I wanted a very specific battle vest, and so I had our guitar player's wife has a clothing business where she custom makes clothes, and she does it for like tribute bands and stuff. So I had her custom make me my vest, and then I put all the patches on it. But I didn't want I didn't want a back patch. But I wanted a big, and I saw this demolition hammer.
You have a Nada right there? Jesus.
Yeah, the Nada patch is the winner for sure.
Hell yeah.
But still got the old school because he's like
still got the
comes from the old school.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah,
okay.
I had to get the DRI because that's very early for me. Dark Angel was one of my very early bands. Obituary, Napalm Death, obviously, some of the obvious ones. I had to have a Suicidal Tendencies because they were also very early for me.
I agree with that.
Got the Master of Puppets.
Nice.
Dude.
Nice.
Disgorge.
Nice. We have the best.
Mortis Scald. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
Oh yeah.
Cool Death Metal band.
Oh,
you should get Dave on the podcast.
I would love to.
Sinister.
Nice.
How about Lang Shay? Anybody know?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Holy fuck. I haven't heard from them in a long time.
Cryptopsy, Rotten Sound. Got it. Mandatory Gore Guts because The Erosion of Sanity is one of my all-time favorite albums.
Fuck
dude, come on now.
Suffocation.
All
right. That's one of the sicker ones I've seen.
That's a great
one. All right. I was trying to judge it harshly, but you just dominated.
You can't dog me on my battle vest.
No, we nerd out because we're Pokemon collectors, but we don't have the booklet yet.
Yeah, Dan's dripped out, dude.
No, I honestly, like, in my later years, I'm like, I want to fucking put together a battle vest.
I kind of want to put together a battle vest,
of like all the my journey and stuff. Like, you know, like when you see like young kids with one, just like they have like, there's always a band on there. You're like, really? You're gonna put that next to that band? Like, fuck off. You know, like I always like, because it allows you to judge them because they're putting all their shit like on their sleeve, literally. So it's like It's like blah blah blah. It's still like fucking Nickelback or something. Like they'll throw something like random, like like a random like corn patch. Yeah, I wouldn't want to put that on my fucking.
You know about the Crocs? You know, kids are putting shit on their Crocs. We should do battle Crocs instead of
battle Crocs.
Battle Crocs.
Yeah, sandals. Sandals they're out. You can't fucking. There's no fucking real estate for
Cali
sandals, dude.
Battle Crocs, dude.
Wow,
shout out Battle Forge Coffee, Cali Duff Battle Crocs, dude.
Fuck yeah, that's cool though. It's definitely like a kind of midlife crisis-y kind of thing that I like. I mean,
there you go. No, it's always been cool. They've always been cool. If you're
wanting to get a battle vest going, you're in your midlife crisis right now.
I must be. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of past midlife, but maybe I'm still in that crisis. I don't know.
I think I'm right at midlife.
I'm fucking 53, still playing death metal. So,
dude, but when I say midlife crisis, don't take it as a bad thing. We all want to do it. We all want to fucking loop back.
Dan's pretty logical.
I still love it, man.
40 years old almost. And
dude, me and Joel are going to show up. The next time I see Joel, we're both going to be wearing battle vests, dude. Like, fucking check out my locust patch, dude.
I know. Yeah. We're going to be like seeking all these patches and spending hundreds of dollars on them just to like, no, I need that patch for my battle vest. No, I will do it. I have all these Spawn of Possession decals on my guitar or my car.
Dude.
Soon. Yeah.
No, but shout out Pull the Plug patches.
Yeah, I definitely have some.
They
fuck yeah.
They hit up a couple projects that I'm involved with for licensing 100 patches. I think he sends you like 40 and he sells 60.
I respect it.
Something like that is the deal. And it's a great. Why would you take that? So he's doing a good thing. So shout out.
Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think like something to kind of like wrap things up. Like I feel like. This is, if you have a band that like no one likes that's in metal too, or not metal, like put it on your patch and piss people off.
I love to fly that flag, dude. I love to fly the flag of
I have I'm actually wearing a Star Trek shirt, but I have a Star Trek patch in need of a battle vest. I just need to put it on one. So I'm going to start that right off. I have a Cynic. I think it's Mass Vidalian. It's not even Cynic. No, I have a Cynic patch. I gave my Mass Vidalian patch to a friend. But I have a Star Trek. It's going to be Star Trek and Cynic and whatever follows after that. So,
dude,
I'm
I want Depeche Mode to be next to Spawn of Possession and just be like, people are like, what? And just like, I want people to fucking get weird.
Masvidalian, shout out Paul. He's putting out some new rings too, all sterling silver, dude. And we'll give him a little plug, dude. Masvidalian.
Oh yeah,
Go purchase a silver ring from the guitar player of fucking Cynic. All right, dude. Damn,
he's gonna get it.
Did we? We're not. Are we still nice, dude?
Nice.
It's gonna go. It's gonna go right here. Just have to.
See, he's already planning. He's already midlife crisis.
Is he old enough for a midlife crisis?
He's 35, right? 36.
He's already hitting it,
he's a professor. He didn't make a smart vest.
I don't know if it comes across on Zoom, but I'm gonna color my hair soon. So
I mean, the average male lifespan is like around 70 years, right? So that's like midlife. If you want to talk about statistics,
you should be happy that you're coloring your hair and not fucking shaving it because it's gone. All right, that's where I'm at. Dude,
let's blame your parents.
Time to.
I definitely blame my genetics. I look at my aunts, uncles, grandparents. I'm like, you're all the reason why I lost my hair.
Well, Dan, you have nice hair. And is there anything you want to plug at the end of the episode?
Well, I'm not plugging Just for Men because I do not color my hair. Even in my advanced age, it has not gone gray.
Dude,
I have some.
We mentioned earlier.
You're not gray at 53 or whatever.
I was some, but
I was in my head when I saw you. I was thinking early 40s, dude. So you're doing it right. However you're doing it, dude.
Well, fuck yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on and hanging out with us. That was super fun, dude. I had a great time.
Thank you guys very much. Like I said at the beginning, I'm a huge fan of the podcast. I've watched so many hours of it. I really appreciate you guys having me on, man. It's great to talk to you guys.
Awesome, man.
Hell yeah, Dan. And I love hearing that, dude. Like I said, it's so fun to sit here with a fan as well as somebody we want to talk to because of their art and their music. So
yep,
we had that, and dude, I'm excited for 72 Legions to be getting out on the road more, dude. I mean,
that's the plan.
Cool. Awesome, dude.
All right, good shit.
All right.
Bring the Atheist Cryptopsy package to America. I've never seen either band somehow. And if I could cross them both off on the same night, that'd be great. So
yeah, it was great, man. It's a great tour.
Professor, you're in for a treat, dude, when you finally get to see those, because those are literally some of the greatest old school bands that have come back. Obviously with Cynic too. But I think that all those dudes, I think bringing the young bucks in to play the music is the way to go for the new gen. All right. And Joel laughing at me the whole time that I'm talking, but
shout out
I'm just laughing at the music. I'm not doing it.
Shout out Archaic, Cyborg Octopus, and Desiderium for the tour announcement. Pinup Productions, if you want to put us less loosely on some of these shows, looking at Santa Cruz. I'm moving.
Support those.
Remind me, I'll harass
you on there.
Yeah, we got to get us on the Blue Lagoon show.
Harass them.
Yeah, I'll just remind me and I'll text him.
Sweet.
All right. You guys have a great week, Dan. It's so awesome to see you and meet you.
Yep.
Go to the beginning of the show for the plugs because we're done. All right. Have a good weekend. Rock on.
You guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Yep.